time than they normally do in the pregame. Again, this is Military Appreciation Night, and of course, recognizing all the veterans. The day before September 11th, of course, the 20th year anniversary of the terrorist attack on the, of course, the buildings there in New York City and D.C. and Pennsylvania too. So definitely going to be kind of a bittersweet weekend as you remember how strong this country is, but at the same time, you think about what's tried to be done to it over the years, and of course, nobody wants to hear about that, but it's the same situation year after year. We always got to protect ourselves. And we mentioned the homecoming game last week. Eagles winning that one 14-0. Not a lot of points on the scoreboard, but they did get 161 yards on the ground, and they did get a guy back that hadn't played yet this season, Caden Trevino. 8 rushes for 44 yards. Second in terms of rushing for Hobbs, Diego Baeza had 9 carries for 58. Roy had 33, and also Colton Graham with 22. So 4 different guys seeing a bulk of the rush work. So a lot of good numbers you can look at there. Again, 161 yards, kind of a differential than what we've seen with teams in the past. A lot more pass happy than normal, but the rushing game is really working big for Hobbs this year. But they got to get consistent in the red zone. We saw a couple games back where they got in there about 3 or 4 times against Artesia, couldn't punch it in. All that work on the field with the rushing game, you got to get some payoffs in that end zone.
And that's the key, and it really worked against them in Artesia, getting it inside the 5 3 times and not punching it in. That's 21 points left on the board if you hit the extra point. And I think that's probably what they're working on right now, is trying to finish off those drives and trying to find a way to find pay dirt.
Good defense, of course. Great defense, holding Roswell to 29 yards total offense. 3 interceptions by the Hobbs Eagles secondary, Nathan Cerceris, also Jordan Chisholm and Hector Armendaris all picking off passes from Roswell. Lots of guys getting involved in terms of tackles, too. Aldo Argot, one of the linebackers, 9 tackles, 2 for a loss. Hector Armendaris had 8 himself, 2 for a loss. Blake Hensley with 5. And a couple other guys. Mendoza also had 4 in this game, too. Hobbs' defense has really been on a tear this year. They've had 2 shutouts, the first time since 2013. And those also 4 games of shutouts. If you go back to last year where they beat Oñate 47-0. So 3 of the last 4 games they played in this season, adding a game from last season, have been shutting teams out from putting any points on the board. So definitely going to need this against a high, potent offense, the passing attack of Lovington. They like the big plays, and the Hobbs secondary better be ready for that.
And I think that's the biggest key is how we play them. You know, are we going to be a bend-no-break defense, kind of play off of them, don't give up the long ball, but then at that point you're going to start giving up little short outs, and you're going to have to start making tackles. If you do come up and you try to take away those short passes, are you going to be able to turn and burn with them and prevent that long bomb from happening?
Wildcats got a come-from-behind victory last week, defeating Alamogordo on the road 22-21, a 1-point victory. They went for 2 under 1 minute remaining and scored that. Adam Aguilera, a couple other guys getting big numbers for Lovington in that one. Quarterback Wyatt Gomez, 18 of 25 in the air, 193 yards, 3 touchdown passes to 8 different receivers in this game, really lighting them up big. Tate Hilliard, 3 catches for 84 yards at TD. Adam Aguilera, 8 catches, 51 yards at TD. Isaac Hinton, 4 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. And he also rushed twice for 66 yards and had the winning 2-point conversion. So Isaac is definitely a kid that's potent. He's going to be out there all over the place. Hobbs is going to take care of him big time. Defense in that game against Alamogordo, 3 interceptions for the Wildcats. Tate Hilliard had 2 and actually had 3 of them in that game. Joseph Perez had an interception as well. A couple other guys getting sacks in the contest. Josh Perez and Josh Carrasco both had 10 tackles apiece against the Tigers, another 5A opponent they knocked off.
You know, I think something you hit on in the middle of that is going to be so important tonight, and that's going to be turnovers, because usually in high school football, the team that has the best turnover ratio ends up winning, and I think that's going to be the key tonight. You got 2 teams, both teams very good, both teams solid defensively, both teams can move the ball. It's going to come down to turnovers and special teams.
In that game, Hilliard, 11 catches, 190 yards. Isaac Henson, 14 catches, 161 yards. Adam Aguilera, 14 for 39. Actually, that's their season numbers, excuse me. Hilliard, 190, Henson, 161. And Aguilera's a leader right now with 301 yards, so he's had catches for 3 football fields worth. Again, secondary is kind of young for the Eagles. They replaced a lot of guys that graduated last year, so, I mean, they've already had a taste of a passing attack with Artesia. Doesn't that get them ready for this game, Coach?
I think it does. You know, it not the same kind of passing attack, but it's similar. But I think it definitely is something that's going to prevent, or rather give us the reps that we need. I thought we did a pretty good job against Artesia. Not a perfect job, but I think it was pretty solid And I think defensively overall, we take away the run and make them a one-dimensional team. That's going to work in our advantage.
Eagles passing for 369 yards this season and 523 in the rushing game. If you look at the top backs at this point is the quarterback. Colton Graham, 34 carries, 141 yards. Gianni Royal has 110 yards on the ground as well. And we got Diego Baeza, too, which is a potent guy in the backfield for the Eagles. And let's not forget about Trevino, who just checked back in last week for his first game. So definitely a lot of different people you can look at. Receiving core, Corbin Thompson will not play tonight. I've been told it was kind of a last-second decision for Coach Stevens. He will not play. He leads the team with catch receptions, 101 yards on 3 in just 2 games. Ethan Van Landingham is also high on the team with 6 catches for 69 yards. He will be in uniform in this ball game. But, again, having Thompson out for 2 games straight, definitely a blow for your offense.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you want to be full strength for a game like this, but you're also looking at the district schedule coming up. You got to make a decision that's going to be best for the long run.
Coach, defense, we've talked about them so far with already 2 shutouts this season. Of course, started the season knocking off Clovis and also the win against Roswell last week. But it was a couple of guys that really stepped up in the linebacking core. Kenyon Singleton leads the squad with 29 tackles. Argot right behind him at 21. Blake Hensley has 19. Also Moore with 16 and Armendaris with 13. So it's nice to see a bunch of guys trying to vie for the top tackles on this squad. And they're going to have to be ready. A lot of secondary work in this game as Lovington likes to pass the football.
Yeah, both teams coming out on the field for the open kick. They went ahead and reset the clock. There's still like 2 minutes left on it, but I think they decided they wanted to play some football.
Look at that moon on the horizon, too. A pretty orangish pink out there. A full moon tonight, too.
That's not the moon. That's the sunset.
Excuse me. I'm jumping the gun there a little bit. Look at the
beautiful sunset. There's a lot of smoke in the area.
Yeah.
And I was watching a little bit of the news broadcast on my phone before coming over here. There's a lot of smoke in the area, and it's made it for an absolutely gorgeous sunset. Perfect breathing tonight.
Moonset. Glad you corrected me on that. I hadn't even thought about it. I just said it and moved on with it.
There you go.
Hobbs wearing their black uniforms, gold numbers. Very easy to see this week. White uniforms and blue trim for the Wildcats. There's the kickoff on the 40-yard line. It keeps it on the ground, bounces off a Wildcat, scoop up at the 20 on the right hash, up to 30, 35, and drilled down at the 35 at the last second, taking the knees out quickly. Tate Hilliard was the return man for about 12 yards. And he was hit pretty hard there, right in the knees by the Hobbs Eagle coverage crew. As getting the first blow on him was Eric McNabb, the outside linebacker. So the Wildcats have the first possession of the ball game at the 35-yard line. Gomez, the quarterback, and he's definitely got an arm on him. He'll send 2 receivers to the right, 3 to the left side, and we're ready for some football. Takes a little bit of time in the backfield by himself on the shotgun at the 30. Low snap, 2-step drop. He got flags and whistles all over the place. It's a little bit of movement on that line, and wait to see who they call this one on.
And I like it when, to see the empty set in high school football. I think the actual empty set is one of the easiest to run off of because everybody's out in a pattern. You don't have as many people in the box.
False start called against the Wildcats, so that'll be the first penalty of the ball game. Back to the 30-yard line to bring up a 1st and 15 from the right hash. Eagles, again, this is their 3rd game in a row hosting the Wildcats. So Lovington trying to get their 3rd in a row victory here at Watson Stadium. Trips left, receivers 2 to the right side against shotgun. Gomez back to pass, 2-step drop out of the shotgun, dancing around, rolls right towards the 21. At the sideline, throws a sidewinder into the dirt at the 40. Or the field turf, I should say. And it looked like the receiver was just kind of curling back, trying to help his quarterback out. Not much of a pattern at the end there, but desperation throw to Adam Aguilera in the turf.
I think one thing that impressed me there is how long the defensive backs were able to hold coverage. And he finally had a receiver open, but he was running for his life at that point.
2nd down and 15 now from the 30 as the Eagles and the Wildcats starting here at Watson Stadium early in the first quarter. 1 man back with Gomez now. Waiting for that shotgun. Another low snap. 2-step drop. Turns and fires. The pass is deflected at the line of scrimmage. Big paw in the air that time for the black and gold to swat it down was Gavin Brumley. Of course, Gavin, 6'4", basketball size there, coach, 315 pounds.
And it's nice to see him getting his hands up as the pass was going in. That right there counts as a whole play that he made. It's almost like making a tackle at the line of scrimmage. You knock one down like that, you force them into a 3rd and long.
Coach Gonzalez did mention that throughout the week, that they have to take advantage of the plays that they get against Hobbs. They know the tough defense that they're facing in this ball game. 4 in the front line for the Eagles. 3rd down and 15 from the 30 for the Wildcats. Good shotgun now to Gomez. Steps up in the pocket to the 25. Tries to backpedal, and he is buried in the turf behind the line of scrimmage. And taking a piece out of him that time to make sure he didn't get anywhere across the line was Andre Alvarado, sacking the quarterback.
And Alvarado bared down on him like a linebacker from the NFL would, and just absolutely blasted him in the back. He's going to fill that one in the morning.
That's a 5-yard loss for Gomez. And that will be a 4th down situation for the Wildcats. Defense coming up big for the Eagles so far as we await the punt. Man in motion from left to right. It's going to be a punt regardless from the 20. A wobbler going to go down to the 44. Fingertip catch at the 50 to the 45 and cut back to the 43, getting somersaulted around at the last second on the return was Hector Armendaris, and he caught that with his fingertips between about the 45 and 50, barely able to scoop that up and get across. And that's been kind of a juggernaut for the Eagles in some of the ball games recently. We've had some fumbled returns on kickoffs and punt coverage.
You know, one of the rules I had as a coach is if you can't catch it easy, don't catch it at all. Just get out of the way. You make the easy play. Make the routine play. Don't try to do anything special out there and cause turnovers.
Sun has gone down now. Boy, that disappeared quickly. That was the sun, not the moon on the horizon there, Coach. First down at 10 from the 42. Eagles in Wildcat territory. Twins right and left. Handoff around the right end of the 40. 35-30 up the sideline and stripped down at the 25. And that's a big gain for the Eagles. That'll be Caden Trevino starting from the 42 and getting himself down to the 26, 16-yard pickup for Trevino in his 2nd game of the season, a 1st down for the Eagles.
And Trevino looked over at Baeza and said thank you, because Baeza absolutely leveled the outside linebacker on the lead block.
1st down and 10 for the Eagles on their first drive here on the 26 of the Wildcats, right hash. Pair of receivers right and left, single setback along with the quarterback, of course. That's Colton Graham. Shotgun, throws the screen pass to the right side. Caught by Baeza. Spins at the 25 on the near sideline. He'll get across for positive yardage. Looks like 3 for him on the first reception for the Eagles.
And that's just one of those rhythm plays right there. It's not really a traditional pass play. It's really kind of a run play. You're just trying to get a couple yards out there and establish that you're willing to do it in different ways.
A 2-yard pickup for Baeza. Brings it to the 24-yard line on the right hash. 2nd down and 8. Heading into Lovington territory now. Stacked receivers, 2 on the both sides, left and right, and a bunch of jumping going on for the Wildcats right side of the D-line. And hopefully the Eagles stood stout that time and didn't move.
Busted. That's what happens when you jump across the line a little bit too early.
Waiting to see what the official taking his time there in the offensive backfield to get the signal. Offside penalty against the Wildcats. They've hit twice on handkerchiefs. That's their 2nd for 10 yards total. And it'll move it up to the 19 now. The Eagles only need about 3 yards for the 1st down. They're 2nd in this ball game.
And being a 2nd down, that gives you a play where you can go for the end zone here too and still have another down to make it.
Eagles now looking to the sideline for the play call from Coach Stevens. 9 minutes left, first quarter, still scoreless. First drive of the game for the Eagles. Trips left, receiver right, shotgun. Graham will get it. Delay handoff to Baeza. No, he takes it himself up the middle. 20, 15, 10, 5. He's dragging people with him down to the 2-yard line. Great fake to Baeza around the left end. So they're going to mark it about the 3-yard line. Another 16-yard pickup for the Eagles.
And that was a great read. It was a zone read off the left tackle out there. And they were just watching that defensive end. When he didn't crash down, he pulled it and took it himself.
2 16-yard pickups for the Eagles. This time Graham takes around the left end, and he high steps it into the end zone for the 3-yard touchdown run. The Eagles up early, 6-0.
Easy peasy. That's the way you want to start off. Take your first drive and you shove it down their throats.
I believe they might have inserted somebody else back there. That was Trevino that stepped in behind the snap and took the run around the end that time for the score.
And looked good doing it. He had quite a bit of burst of speed when he made the turn at the corner.
I think they did a little pistol action that time and lined up a little bit closer than the normal shotgun and got that direct snap to Trevino, who stepped in behind the center. Waiting for the PAT. Eagles were 0 for 2 on the kicks last week. This one is up, and it is good. So definitely trying to get every point you need against this Wildcat team as the Eagles convert on the PAT. So Baeza puts it through. It's 7-0 here in the first quarter. Hobbs up on Lovington. 8:33 left. We'll be back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
You're clear.
Thank you.
Was it 60 or 30?
60.
That's what I thought. Thank you. $30. $15. Three, two, one, go.
Welcome back, Watson Stadium. The kickoff, a wobbler taking about the 20, cut up to the 25, and eventually dropped to the 35. And Ty Friend with a 7-0 lead. Hobbs Eagles here in the first quarter, looking good.
That return caused an injury, too, as getting kind of crumpled up at the last second coming with the football. Isaac Henson, not a guy that the Wildcats want to see hurt. He kind of paused behind the big scrum pile that was moving across the 30 on the left hash on the kick return. Kind of put on the brakes and just let the pile move, and then all of a sudden the Eagle got through with the helmet. I think got part of his leg that time, so they're getting help for him off the field. He's one of their top rushers and receivers and special teams guys, and on defense too, so they don't want to lose him.
Certainly not. I mean, he contributes quite a bit of their offense.
1st and 10 now for the Wildcats at their own 34.5-yard line. They trail 7-0, and already an defensive offside for the Eagles. And moving across way too fast that time for Hobbs was Oliver Hill, the defensive tackle, and he kind of put his hands on the back of the head of somebody and shoved him back on top of that. So he's lucky he didn't get a personal foul penalty on top of that.
It'll be interesting to see because it looked like the Lovington offensive line moved at the same time. This one's going to be kind of hard to judge.
Yeah, and the officials getting together on this one, so we'll see if who they're going to say flinched first. It's going to be a false start against the Wildcats, so I'm wrong on that one. My apologies to Mr. Hill that time. 3rd penalty now for 15 total. 5 apiece for the Wildcats on their penalties, all becoming on some not plays that you want to see from a team that's got a 3-0 record.
And, right now, Hobbs Eagles have all the momentum going. They want to sure jump on this play right here.
1st and 15 now from the 30 of the Wildcats, who trail 7-0. Twins left for 2 receivers right. Back to pass Gomez on the slant. Catch at the 35 near sideline to the 40. And that will be 15 yards for the first down. A little dump over to the left side as making the catch and getting towards the out-of-bounds line was Josh Carrasco.
And that kind of tells you about the strategy that the Eagles are going to use here defensively. They're going to back off you. They're going to let you have the short stuff. And they're going to try to keep you from going for the long ball. They're going to play bend-no-break defense.
Lovington 1 for 3 in the passing game for 15 yards. 2nd down and 15 now. Shotgun. Gomez goes to delay handoff. It takes it himself. Pulled it out. 40, 45, 50 into Hobbs Eagle territory. So he's getting a bunch. It looks like 15 for the quarterback. Gomez with a nice fake, holding it in the gut of his running back that time. And will move the chains.
And that's a nice little read also. Same one that we got our big play off of. He puts that ball into the gut of the running back, and he's reading the defensive line. He's seeing if they're going to crash on the running back route. If they do, he pulls and takes it into the hole.
Into Hobbs territory, the first down for the Wildcats at the 47-yard line of the Eagles. Twins right and left, shotgun Gomez, fakes the handoff, gut up the middle again, angles left out of the 45 to the sideline, spinning away from a couple of tackles, and then gets wrapped up and rolled. Tayton Hilliard actually the guy that took the snap that time. So the Wildcats starting to snap into some other guys besides their quarterback, and that time he's going to get, looks like maybe, 2 yards? Maybe, no, they're going to only give him about 1.5 or so.
Yeah, it really wasn't great tackling by the Hobbs defense, but it was great rallying. And the first guy couldn't quite get him down, but everybody else was rallying to the ball. And it looks like they had about 7 or 8 in the area by the time the play was over.
2nd down and 9 for the Wildcats at the Eagle 46 left hash. Pair of receivers left and right, shotgun. Back to pass. Gomez will throw the out route quick in the field turn. I don't know if there's going to be a catch or not. Diving attempt. They're going to say no, but he kind of threw that early because he had some rush coming at him pretty big up the middle.
Yeah, outside linebacker giving pressure from the far side, and he had turned that corner, and he really didn't have a great angle on the quarterback, but the quarterback could see he'd beat that right tackle, and he had to get rid of the ball.
Wildcats 1 for 4 in the passing game on 15 yards, a reception by Carrasco. 3rd down and 9. They've got it at the Eagle 46 left hash. 2 receivers left, 2 on the right side. Ready for that shotgun is Gomez. Puts a man in motion. Takes his low snap, steps back and throws on the out route, coming back for it. Lost the football out of his gut that time was Isaac Henson on the near sideline. I think he felt 2 or 3 Hobbs Eagle defenders coming at him, kind of slapping at him from behind, and some good coverage on that near sideline. A little bit of a double team action there. That was Eric McNabb as one of them, and also helping out on the cause too, Jesus Maganda.
And Jose Navarez was over there as well. And it was just nice. A lot of Hobbs Eagles in the area. They covered that play well.
Wildcats not used to being 1 for 5 in the passing game. They are right now. 4th and 9 at the Eagle 46. Trips right, 2 receivers left, and Gomez by himself in the backfield, waiting for the shotgun. And now it's going to be a punt instead. That was Tate Hilliard. He throws it end over end high in the air, bounces at the 21 on the left hash, and takes a Wildcat roll and continues to go down to about the 11. So a 10-yard roll for the Wildcats, pinning back the Hobbs Eagles on their next possession.
And that's their design play. It's basically an extended, shotgun. It's kind of halfway in between a traditional punt area and where the shotgun quarterback would stand. And they do that so they make you think they're going to go for it, and they really intend to do a squib punt like that every time.
Hobbs will have the football at their own 11, leading 7-0 here, first quarter over Lovington. 6:42 left in the opener. Eagles get everybody lined up, send the 3 receivers left, 1 to the right side as we wait for the shotgun for Graham. It's a man in motion left to right, gives a handoff coming around the right side. Baeza, Trevino, 15, 20, and drop to the 24. There's a flag behind the play. It looks like maybe a legal block or hold by the Eagles. Bunch of receivers out there trying to break it open for Trevino, coming from left to right around the end. And it's going to be against the Eagles.
Yeah, and this is one of those things. He had good blocks up front. One person just kind of held on just a little too long.
And that's going to be half the distance because they were behind the 20, so half the distance from the 11's a 5.5, so 5.5-yard penalty against the Eagles on that one.
The Eagles show, though, that they can get to the outside. And for a Lovington team with the Hobbs coaches said had more speed than the Eagles, I haven't seen that thus far. It looks like we're about even.
Hobbs kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit last week. They had about 100-yard in penalties, which is about 4 times the amount of offense Roswell had, so it kind of worked out okay, but still, they don't want to start backing up. Lovington's been the one that's been getting the penalties so far. They have 3 for 15 total. Hobbs their first for 5.5. Backed up now at the 5.5-yard line, first down and 15. Waiting for the shotgun is Graham. Hands the delay up the middle to the 10, to the 15, 20, near side, 25, 30, 40, 45, Royal 50 into Lovington territory. So it's going to be about a 50-yard run for Royal to the near sideline.
And just like that, the Hobbs Eagles have flipped the field, and now they've got the Lovington Wildcats on their heels.
So that's going to be, it looks like, 51 yards for Royal. Definitely a way to get things sparked up for the Eagles, who lead 7-0.
Very spirited Eagles team out there right now. You can tell that they are really feeling their oats.
Eagles picking up their second first down now in Lovington territory at the 44-yard line on the right hash. Trips left, receiver right. Graham waiting for the shotgun, backed with a 3-step drop. Steps up in the pocket, gets pressure, gets away from one, but not the second. He's going to go down for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, and that was a blitz right up the middle. And the right guard and the center kind of split, and they just gave him a lane. He just went right up the middle, right at the quarterback.
Yeah, he got some big pressure, like you said, and the man that meets him first, Caleb Neese, the strong safety up there, a 2-yard loss for Colton.
On a side note, Boise State UTEP are getting ready to start, and Hardison, the quarterback for UTEP, Hobbs grad, having a great season. UTEP 2-0 right now, taking on the ranked Boise State Broncos.
Second down and 12. The Eagles are taking a delay here this time as they're looking at the sideline for the play call. Line it back up with a pair of receivers left and right. Shotgun Graham. Delay handoff again to Royal. He tries to plow straight forward, going back to the well for the Eagles. And he's going to get back a couple of yards. And looks like he'll get across the line for a +1 on that one.
Yeah, they ended up getting about 4 yards on that carry. I think maybe 3. Royal did a great job hitting the hole the first time. This time, Lovington didn't give him one to hit, so he just kind of put his head down and took what he could get.
He's already got a game worth of yards, though. 2 carries for 53 now at the 44-yard line of the Wildcats. 3rd down and 9 for the Eagles. A big play here. Trips left, receiver right. Graham in the shotgun. Fakes the flip to the right side, tries to cut back himself to the right, gets spun around in the backfield and goes down for a loss. Looked like he just didn't see an opening, and nobody really blocking for him in that backfield. Takes a dive. He'll go back for about a yard loss.
And that was a play that was designed to be kind of misdirection, where you looks like you're going to go run one play, which was the jet sweep going the opposite way. But Lovington did a great job of reading our guard pulls. And when we pulled our guards, Lovington just kind of went to where the guards went, and that's where the play took them.
Looks like the Eagles will be in a punt situation now for the first time in the ball game. They're in Lovington territory, though, at the 46, so maybe a chance for a little fakery going on here. 3:45 remaining here in the first, 7-0 Eagles. Snap is good. The kick from the 44 almost blocked. It might have been shanked as it's going to roll short yardage to the near sideline to the 40, make it the 39 of the Wildcats. The ball came off at a weird angle towards the near right sideline. I don't know if it was blocked, but I think it came off the side of his foot.
Yeah, and it did because he was rushed. He had the rush coming right in his face. He had to get rid of it quickly, and he had to take his steps faster than normal, and it took him off a rhythm.
So really that was a dead play for the Eagles. That gives the Wildcats some great field position. They should have just gone for it after seeing what the result of that one was, as Lovington will now have it at their own 38.5-yard line on the left hash. They're down 7-0 to the Eagles, the home team here at Watson. 3:36 left first quarter. Wildcats will send a couple right, couple left in the receiving corps. They're just 1 of 5 in the passing game. Shotgun. And taking the ball himself up the gut is Aranda. He gets swamped down to the line of scrimmage. A bunch of black and gold on top of him. And kind of leading the charges originally on that play for the Eagle D was Kenyon Singleton, the linebacker, but he had some help too.
Isaiah Montez was the first one that made contact with the quarterback. He was blitzing on a fire blitz off the right side. Stuck his helmet right into the quarterback's chest about 2 yards deep.
Coach Gonzalez using a lot of different people to get snaps in the backfield for his offense. And I believe they got him back there again. What if there's been an injury in this game? Is Aranda now back at the quarterback position. Twins right and left. Takes a shotgun. A little flip around the left end on the reverse. Coming to the near sideline is Aguilera, angling left out of bounds, as he'll pick up 5 on that one. Comes to the Hobbs Eagles sideline left.
And that'll force a 3rd down situation. And Hobbs so far has been really good at stopping Lovington on 3rd down.
Yeah, I really wanted to see what the situation is with the different quarterback in the ball game. Ashton Aranda is in the ball game at this point as he looks at the sideline for the play call from Coach Gonzalez. 3rd down and about 7 now for the Wildcats at their own 42 on the left hash. On the short side left in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench, they'll send 3 receivers left and 2 to the right side. Aranda by himself in the backfield. Long snap count here. Low snap, 3-step drop. Stays pocket, dances, rolls right to the 40, throws it on the run to the post route, fumble at the 50-yard line. If they call that a catch, that would be a first down, but he fumbled backward. I'm going to see if they're going to call this a juggle or not. It would be almost just exactly what they needed for the first down if they're going to let this go. Incomplete, so what they're going to roll it. So that will bring up a 4th down situation for the Wildcats. They're 1 for 6 in the passing game for just 15 yards.
Either way, Hobbs has a positive outcome there. Whether it was incomplete, forcing the punt here, or whether it was a fumble, Hobbs ended up with something positive.
So 4th down and 7 still for the Wildcats after an incomplete pass. Ball's at the 42-yard line of the Lovington squad, down 7-0. A little delay now in the huddle. A little miscommunication from the sideline as Rhonda had to go out of the huddle, look over to the sideline, and come back to it. As he'll be the man in the backfield by himself once again. Trips right, Twins left. Eagles have 4 in the box. They're just going to be thinking pass here. It doesn't look like he wants to punt it unless he does a quick kick here. He's going to roll right. He wants to throw to the 40. Throws it on the out route. Catch at the first down marker. It's going to be very close. Maybe a shoestring situation over there. Receiver was yanked out of bounds.
And I think it was a favorable spot for the Hobbs Eagles there. If they'd have given him forward movement, he'd have had a first down. But where they marked it, he didn't get it.
They needed to get 7. We're going to wait to see what they got on this one. Receiver on the play was Tayton Hilliard. And it looks like they only gave him 6, so he went out of bounds right before the first down marker, they're going to say. So 6-yard pickup for Hilliard, but not enough. That'll be a turnover on downs for Wildcats. Coach, do you think Coach Gonzalez is second-guessing that call there?
Probably not. It was a play where the quarterback or the punter, he does either duty. He rolls out, and if there's not a play that develops, he punts it. And if it does develop, he throws it. It was kind of a run-pass option or run-punt option, so to speak. He had all sorts of things he could have done there.
Wildcats with 2 punts and now a turnover on downs. Eagles in Lovington territory, 1st and 10 on the 47. Shotgun to Graham, handoff to Royal left to the 40, 35, 30, breaks a tackle, 25, 20. That's Baeza, 15, 10, 5. He's thrown down at the 4-yard line. Start at the 48, 44-yard pickup for Baeza.
Is that Baeza or Royal out there?
No, it's Baeza. I changed it in the midway.
I tell you what, Baeza's been playing spirited ball. You saw that great block for him earlier, and now a great run. And I know he has a lot to play for right now with his family and all. The great kid and great family, and I'm just really happy to see him having some success out there.
So 44 yards for Baeza. Actually going to put it at looks like the 7, so let's make that 41 for Baeza. Back to passes, Graham. He's going to throw the out to the right corner, jump in the air catch over the shoulder, and a touchdown for 7 yards as the Eagles get back up on the scoreboard as they lead by 2 touchdowns. Caden Trevino going up for a dunk on that one and coming down with it.
And that's all athlete right there. That ball was probably a little bit overthrown, but he just went up and found some way to come down with it.
So Trevino now with 2 touchdowns, a rush for 3 earlier, and now a 7-yard reception from Graham. And Eagles up 13-0, pinning the PAT from Baeza. As he awaits for the snap. Long delay on this. High snap. Kick is up. And the kick is going to be a little bit out left, outside, no good. And a nice attempt there to try to get that ball down for the Eagles, but unfortunately, just didn't get there. Last week they were 0 for 2 in the PAT department, and this one now 1 for 2.
Yeah, I hit the pole and didn't go through. That happens, but you can't leave points on the board like that. This is what hurt us against Lovington previously.
2:15 remaining first quarter. Hobbs up 13-0 over the Wildcats. We're back in 30 seconds on Cool 95.7 and YouTube.
You're clear.
30, please.
Okay. Ten. 5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, Watson Stadium. 13-0 your score. The Eagles are up on the Wildcats. Eagles kicking off here from the 40. Here's Ty Friend.
Eagles with some big yardage coming up for some guys now. We had that big 51-yard run for Joey Royal to get the team down the field, and now we have a 7-yard touchdown reception from Trevino, his second TD of the ballgame. Of course, last week, Colton Graham, the quarterback, had the 2 touchdowns for the Eagles. But I think a lot of people are surprised, even though the Eagles are a bigger division team, already up 13-0 in this one. The number 1 team in the state from the 4A, the Lovington Wildcats, in the Max Preps poll this week. Here's the kickoff from the 40. Baeza does an end-over-end back to the 10-yard line. Caught and returned for the Wildcats by Adam Aguilera up the gut. He meets the middle of the field to the 20 and is drilled down hard. And boy, I'm pretty excited after making that stop for Hobbs was James Moore, and he comes off. Actually, no, that was was that Graham or Moore coming off the field? Pretty excited after that play as he really rammed him hard. It was Colton Graham, I believe, playing on the kickoff team there.
Hey, he can do everything, can he?
Wildcats will have the football at their own 19-yard line, trailing 13-0. A little delay is a couple of officials having discussion, the umpire and the Whitecap over the football.
Probably asking, was that the quarterback that just made a tackle?
Yeah, Graham was pretty excited after that, and usually don't see a QB in the that type of situation. First down and 10 for the Wildcats, middle of the field here at the 19-yard line, and their side of the field turf. And still another delay, official stopping action. Still not sure what this is all about, but the umpire's kind of looking around everywhere now, checking his other refs out for some reason. We'll have to see if who's the quarterback is. It's going to be that same guy that checked in. Aranda up the gut, dragging a few Hobbs Eagle defenders with him across the 20 to the 23, making the 24-yard line. So he's been in for most of this second part of the first half, and he's up ahead for 4 on that one.
And that play didn't look like it was kind of a busted play. He had 2 pulling linemen, and so that play was a design play. It was supposed to be a counter. He didn't give it to the back that was running toward the counter.
Second down and 6 for the Wildcats at their own 23-yard line, trailing 13-0. In between the two hash marks, Twins left, receiver right. Aranda waits for the snap, low on the ground. His running back has to jump forward and put it down on the ground and cover it up before it's turned over to the Hobbs Eagles. And that kind of escaping a chance for a takeaway for Hobbs on that one, getting on top of the football, Joseph Perez. But that's going to be about a 2-yard loss on the play.
And that forces another 3rd and long situation. And I'm pretty sure that Lovington is not looking at this game and thinking this is how they want it to go.
Yeah, they've had a couple of come-from-behind victories, though, defeating Roswell. They're down 17-6, and last week they had to get a 2-point conversion, less than a minute to play, to beat Alamogordo on the road. So they've kind of bitten their fingernails off, but they've had 3-0 record at this point. They're down to 9 from the 20 of the Wildcats. Twins left and right, shotgun. Aranda going to roll right. He's at the 15, continues to the far sideline, throws the out route low in the field turf, and he continues to throw those low balls, and that will be enough for the first down. He got 10, needed about 9 or so on that one, but he gets more than he needs.
Yeah, and I think that ball skipped in there, but the referee's vantage point, he was behind the guy on the ground, and so he probably couldn't see it. They're going over there and talking about this, but I don't think he's going to overrule him.
That was Henson on the reception, his first catch of the ball game, as he will get 10. And so that's the 3rd reception for the Wildcats. And that will be the first down, their second. 1st and 10 from the 31 on the right hash in their backside. Twins left and right. Fake the handoff, and up the middle goes Aranda. He gets spun around. The Hobbs Eagles are going to pile up quickly on the line of scrimmage.
Gavin Brumley on the tackle there. The defensive tackle just basically threw off his block and said, I'm just going to grab you here at the line of scrimmage and take you down, sir.
Second down and 10, no gain on the play that time for Aranda. He's got 3 carries for 3 yards. Their biggest carry so far was the starting quarterback, Gomez. He had a 15-yarder, but he has not been back since. That's been about midway through the first period. I'll have to wait and see what the situation is, whether he was injured or something. That's the end of the first quarter as the scoreboard goes clear. They lost the whole electronics over there. 13-0, your Eagles up over Lovington. We'll come back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
You're clear. $30. $10. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, Watson Stadium. Into the first quarter. It is 13-0. The Hobbs Eagles up on the Lovington Wildcats. And looks like the Hobbs have dominated that first quarter. What do they have to do to continue this, Ty?
Well, the one thing that's happening with this Lovington team in terms of the passing game, they have this another quarterback in here, Ashton Aranda. His balls have been thrown pretty low to the field turf. Receiver barely got one in that last series, but been kind of tough for them to make the catches the way they want to. Right now, they're just 3 of 8 in the passing game for 31 yards. So they're starting to pick up a little momentum on the yardage there. But, again, they got to get the ball a little bit higher. He kind of throws a little sidewinder there, and that really makes the receivers get down low. Now, the last one they caught for 10 yards was a first down. But prior to that, they had a string or a couple of passes where they were not even close to making a catch on those. That definitely has to improve for them to kind of get back into this ball game. But the Eagles are in that bend, don't break type of defense right now.
Yeah, and they're just trying to keep everything in front of them, and it forces Lovington to try to have to make a play. And so far, Lovington's kind of been shooting themselves in the foot with some of these plays.
And we're ready for the second quarter now. It is Military Appreciation Night here at Watson Stadium as the Wildcats get back up on the line of scrimmage. Second down and 10 from their own 31-yard line. Hobbs leading 13-0. They'll send 5 in the box for the D. And it'll be up the middle now for the Wildcats after a fake handoff, and piled up at the line of scrimmage, and he maybe dropped behind the line. Isaac Henson now at the quarterback position. Coach Gonzalez going to his bag of tricks, inserting a lot of different guys in that backfield to take the snaps. And you wonder if that maybe is part of the strategy, have a lot of fresh legs out there on a hot night like this one. That'll be a 1-yard gain for Henson.
You know, and what's getting me is that they're really not giving the ball to the running back at all. All of the people that are playing quarterback are pulling it and trying to keep it themselves, which a lot of teams aren't disciplined enough to make those reads. But Hobbs has been staying home and just playing position football, and it's served him well so far.
Probably a passing down to the Wildcats at a 3rd down and 9. Trips left, 2 receivers right on the short side, and a shotgun back in the backfield. It looks like they have Aranda back there now. They go with the fake handoff. He's going to try to run up the middle. The quarterback keeper, he meets a black and gold wall trying to head right, and he's going to go down for about a 3-yard loss. A whole pile involved that time. Leading the charges, Jose Navarez, the inside linebacker, but a lot of other black and golds with him.
Gavin Brumley reached out with his big paws and just slapped him on there, brought him down, gave him a big old bear hug as well.
I can't believe they gave him forward progress on that one. They give him a yard pickup. Looked like he was behind the line of scrimmage, but regardless, a 4th down and 9 from the 31. Definitely a punt situation for the Wildcats. This will be their 3rd punt. They also gave the ball away on downs as well. Of course, the Eagles had 3 INTs last week against Roswell, and the Wildcats even had 3 INTs against the Tigers from Alamogordo. The punt's going to be away. It's a spiral, and then it takes a dead drop down to the Eagles at the 25, brought back to the 30 on a 3-yard return, and coming back with it for Hobbs was Hector Armendaris. Looked like he was brought down by the back of the neck that time and thrown down face first in the turf.
Yeah, you know, and he really didn't get a good read on the ball. So when he finally caught the ball and tried to step out, he couldn't accelerate as quickly as he wanted, couldn't get away from the defender.
Eagles will have that for the 3rd possession now at their own 29. They lead 13-0 here in the 2nd quarter with 10:15 remaining. The Battle of Lea County live on Cool 95.7 and YouTube. Ty friend, Coach Brian Coltrane with you. 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 29. Shotgun, Graham fakes to the left, hands to the right instead. Royal, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, sideline, 41 to beat. 30, there's a flag there on the back, 25. He beats another one, but he's going to be kneeing down there at the 20, but that's not a good sign for where that flag came about halfway through the run.
And I was looking. I didn't see anybody making contact behind the play, and if it was contact, it wasn't much of one. Maybe you saw something I didn't there, Ty.
That would have been another 51-yarder for Mr. Royal, but I think this was going to come back. They're pointing back halfway, even more than halfway back on the run at about the 41-yard line.
And once your running back gets past you, there's no reason to block anymore. You just, at that point, put your head on a swivel, and you just wait.
So he had a legal block is called against the Eagles. Their 2nd penalty for 15.5 yards total. And so a run that went all the way down to about the 20 is going to go all the way back to Hobbs Eagle territory at the 48-yard line. So definitely a big change there. So net yardage, if you go from the 29 to the 48, about 19 yards. We'll go ahead and give Royal on that one.
Yeah.
Rough justice, I guess.
Yep. And what's getting me, though, is that really the Lovington defense is not reading that little handoff exchange that, you know, Hobbs has there in the backfield. And they're getting good blocks on the outside, but a lot of their linebackers are crashing into the wrong holes.
Even with that yardage brought back on the penalty, that was enough for the 1st down. The 4th for the Eagles, and Royal now with 3 carries for 72 yards. 1st and 10 from the 48. Eagles make a little shift now, bring some of their backfield guys on the left side for trips left, 2 receivers right, shotgun. Graham going to hand it off from right to left. That's up the middle. Baez at 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. And that's going to be a 52-yard run. Actually, that's Trevino, I believe. Yep, Trevino for his 3rd touchdown, Coach. Do we see any handkerchiefs on the floor this time?
They're talking at the 45. I don't see a handkerchief, but they're talking, and Coach Stevens has his hands on the hips.
That will be a 52-yarder for Trevino. Still don't see any yellow. Yeah, Coach out on the field. Oh, here we go again. Another handkerchief, Coach.
A lot of boos coming from the fans. I don't even see the flag on the field. I don't know why.
Is it yellow on yellow, though? There's a Hobbs Eagle logo at the middle, which has a little bit of gold all around it, but I still don't see the flag. That's something Coach Stevens talked about this week, too. 2 touchdowns were brought back on penalties against Roswell, even though the Eagles won 14-0. He says he still has to instill in his team, you got to still bounce back after calls like that. Even if you feel they're wrong, right, whatever, play football, and it's going to be a big killer on this one as it comes all the way back. Trevino would have had his 3rd touchdown touchdown, that one for 52.
Yeah, and I think the key is to come back and just do it right over again. Take one right back to the house and prove that you should have had the first one.
So back-to-back penalties for the Eagles, 26 yards on 3 flags so far. And it'll be a first down from the 39-yard line. That's where they were just a few minutes ago. And that will be a first down and, let's see here, 19 it looks like. Hobbs now looking to the sideline to get the play call, checking their wristbands. Hobbs fans are kind of murmuring at this point. We're too happy about that being brought back. 9:48 remaining here in the second. Hobbs up 13-0. Nice little cushion. Shotgun to Graham. 5-step drop behind the 30. Dumps it over the right flat to Royal. He gets swamped the minute he catches it. He had a big halter put on the back of his back and brought down hard. That's going to be just about a 1-yard net gain on that catch.
Yeah.
Actually, no, line of scrimmage. They're not even giving him the forward progress.
It was a design screen, but one of the linebackers peeled off, had read it, missed the block on him, and he was able to just sneak in there and just grab him as soon as the ball got there.
Eagles 3 for 3 for just 9 yards on a no gain on that play. Second down and 19 from the 39. Trips right, trips left, and Graham by himself in the backfield. Take a long snap count here. And he's going to come out of it audible. He looks to the sideline for a check on the call. Checks his wristband again. Receiver going to come in motion. Trevino from right to left. Gives the handoff to him. Heads to the backfield. Tries to cut it back on the left hash and is dropped in the backfield. You could tell that was radared right to the Wildcats that time. Going to be a 5-yard loss.
Yeah, both the defensive end and the inside defensive interior lineman read that. They basically took outside pursuit angles and took it away from him. He couldn't go anywhere.
So third down will be brought back to the 33-yard line. Make it about 24 for the first down. They got to get to the Wildcat 42. Right now that they're on 32. Whole team now with the hands on the hips looking to the sideline. Kind of losing a little momentum after those big penalty calls. 8:20 left second quarter, 13-0 Eagles. Graham waiting for the shotgun. Back to pass out of a 3-step on the left hash. Steps up and fires. Fade route to the near side. Royal bounces it off his hands. Hits the butt of the Wildcat. He was flat on his stomach on the ground and rolls near the out-of-bounds line on the near side. Incomplete. Royal got a piece of it. He kind of tips it up in the air. And luckily the defender had already flattened on the ground before he knew the ball was still up there somewhere.
And that was a well-thrown ball. He put it right into the hands on the money there. Unfortunately, couldn't come down with it, but it was a well-thrown ball.
Eagles 3 for 4 in the passing game now. Fourth down situation, though, for Hobbs, and looks like more than likely a punt time here. Fourth down and 25 is what they have on the scoreboard. Nobody really back deep to get the punt snap as they're all bunched up. You've got a feeling that somebody's going to be back there in a minute. There is nobody back there. Is this a trick play or what? The whole team looks back. They did not have a punter. I thought they were doing some kind of trickery. The punter is on the sideline. The coaching staff livid as Silas Cerna did not know he was going to be a real punter, I guess. They had tricked their own team on that one.
Forced to call a timeout. And Cerna is not the most popular person on the sidelines right now on that one. Those things happen, but you got to pay attention and know when you're supposed to go in.
Well, I was fooled, though. Two of your blockers in the backfield were looking back like they were trying to get the Wildcats to say, hey, what's going on here? And then they all looked at the sideline. At that point, the joke's off.
Yeah, and the center's standing there looking, going, I don't have a punter. He's pointing back there. I kept waiting for the trick play, too, because, you can do that. But, of course, fourth and about 22 or something like that. Fourth and 25 maybe, I don't know.
What's a short snap going to do to you? 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You're not going to get that
unless you're doing the old ball trick. I need to change balls for the kick. I don't know. But, I was just –
Well, they got him back there now after the timeout. One timeout away for the Eagles, and it will be Cerna back there after getting a little tongue lashing. But sometimes you don't get the communication on the sideline you need. Man in motion right to left is Baeza. He'll get the snap and kick from the 25-yard line. High up in the air. Bad reverse angle on that roll, though. It's coming back towards Hobbs, and it's going to be scooped up at the 46. Luckily, getting his big mitts on it was Aldo Argot, the linebacker. Otherwise, that would have been a big roll back past the 50 back in Hobbs territory.
Yeah.
And, again, that's another punt that didn't go the way they planned it.
Yeah. Argot made a great play there just by realizing the ball was coming back at him. If he'd have ran by it, they'd probably had another 5 or 6 yards.
So Wildcats getting some great field position at the 46. And timeout going to be called by Lovington. Coach, burn it this early in the second quarter. You got 7:59 remaining, but I guess they don't want to have another 4 and out or a punt or whatever here. They want to get something in the end zone down 13-zip.
This is a big drive for them right here. If they don't get points out of this drive, they're going to end up going into the half down 13. or even maybe less or more, rather, if Hobbs gets the ball back with time. So I think Lovington's really taken this drive as probably the most important in the game up to this point. Hey, we got to get something out of this, guys. Let's run something.
You got to start to think, too, with the way the Eagles have been playing defense this year. 2 shutouts, holding a team to 29 yards last week. Maybe Coach Ken Stevens likes to win ugly. I mean, 14-0 last week in the homecoming win.
Well, I know Coach Stevens. He likes to win. I don't think he cares whether it's ugly, pretty, or whatnot. I mean, you could throw a dress on an undefeated season that's 14-0 games. It's still an undefeated season. It still looks pretty.
Of course, he's down some players. One of the big ones, too, from this team that really was a mainstay on the offense. He definitely tried to get the guys back. Trevino's been back for a couple games and luckily got him going. I know Diego Baeza was hurt this week with a hamstring pull. It was kind of questionable whether he'd be back on the field. So that was the big question of the game as well. Corbin Thompson, though, is out for game number 2 in a row, so that's definitely hurting them. But they got a lot of good players in the backfield they could go to and a 13-0 lead. Wildcat football, though, Lovington have it at their own 46.5-yard line, trailing 13-0. They'll be on the right hash with a pair of receivers right and left. Shotgun. Pass off to the right wing, caught on the near sideline by Hilliard. Heads up the near sideline, spins, gets it. Looks like maybe a helmet worth of a first down there. But that's about all he's going to get. It looks like 9.5 for him. Maybe the first down if they give him a little bit more forward progress.
And for the first time tonight, Lovington runs the pistol with a back that's behind the shotgun quarterback. And so they come out with a kind of a new look in the backfield and immediately starts to throw out of it.
They're going to call that 9. So 2 catches for Hilliard, 15 yards. The Wildcats are now 4 of 9 in the passing game for 40 yards. Second down and short, less than a yard to go at the Eagle 47-yard or 43-yard line. Shotgun. Shot put over the near side. Hilliard again up the near sideline, and he gets shoved out of pinball fashion. Actually, that wasn't Hilliard. That was Adam Aguilera. He'll get plenty for the first down there. So it looks like 5 yards for him.
And I think Lovington's gone ahead and converted their strategy here. They realized they're not going to get all the runs that they were wanting, and the long passes weren't working. Let's start going to our short game, start throwing little out passes, bubbles, screens, things like that.
I believe that's Gomez who has returned there in the backfield as he threw kind of some shot put throws over the shoulder that time on the near side. That was a first down, 3rd in the game for the Wildcats, 1st and 10 from the Eagle 38. Shotgun, pass off to the left side, and right in traffic and getting ripped down by the helmet. Incomplete on that one, and probably seeing some stars as his head hit the turf. A couple of defenders ripping him to shreds on a kind of a lofty pass to Cesar Gonzalez on that far left sideline.
And Hector Gonzalez is the one that put the hit on him out there. Or excuse me, Hector Armendaris. And he had a just absolute quick reaction to the pass. He closed that gap very quickly.
At the same time, though, that was one of those put your wide receiver's head on a platter that time. The ball was kind of just lofted out there, and that could have got somebody's head taken off for the Wildcats. I believe that is Gomez. His number kind of bunched up. 2nd down and 10 now for the Wildcats at the 38. Handoff around the right end to the 40, 35, and just a short little pickup there, about 4 yards, coming across the 35-yard line as getting underneath the pile there. And that's Gomez, the ball carrier that time for the Wildcats. They got a couple of Gomez's on the roster that do get a lot of playing time on offense. And I believe that was Anthony Gomez. So
and I'm sure this is 4-down territory for Lovington right now. It's 3rd and long, but I have a feeling they're going to go ahead and take 2 to try to get this first down for sure.
Anthony Gomez is the running back. The starting quarterback was Wyatt Gomez, who we haven't seen for a while. 3rd down and 6 now from the 35. Shotgun. Back to pass, a 2-step drop. Fade route on the near side. Picked off for the Eagles at the 20, 25, 30. And high-stepping it out of bounds was Jordan Chisholm. He's a kid that plays some hoops, too, for the Hobbs Eagles. And he has the first pickoff and turnover of the ball game.
6-foot senior out there just kind of jumped up, used that length to snag that thing out of the air, got some yards back, and that was the best-case scenario for the Eagles. But the Lovington is absolutely reeling on offense right now.
Yeah, their passing is not crisp at this point. A lot of sidearm throws and not with a lot of velocity, and that one too low, right in the numbers of Chisholm for the first turnover. Hobbs will have it at their own 34, up 13-0. 6:25 left here in the first half. In the Battle of Lea County here from Watson Stadium. 3rd time in a row this game has been played here at Watson, but Lovington with a 2-0 record in those games. Trips right, receiver left for the Eagles. Graham in the shotgun. Takes a 3-step drop after the snap, bounce it around. He'll toss it down the middle on the seam route over the shoulder, just misses the outstretched hands at the other 30 as Trevino step or two down the middle of the field, and that would have been for a touchdown. He would have caught that in stride. He'd have been gone.
Yeah, and that's a typical Coach Stevens play. You get an interception, a turnover like that, a big play. He goes right for the throat on the next play and tries to go for the end zone.
That would have been a 50-yard reception, but then add another 30 for the run to the touchdown. It would have been 80 yards on the play, but it's coming back with the incomplete 34-yard line. Hobbs in the passing game now is 3 for 5 for 9 yards. So they're keeping it kind of low at this point, but they have a 13-0 cushion on the scoreboard.
Haven't had to throw it. They've been running the ball well.
2nd down and 10 from the 34. Trips right, receiver left, give the handoff, heading outside, using the blockers to the near side, little shuffle step, and trying to cut it back to the near sideline for the Eagles was Diego Baeza. And he's going to get another 4 for the Hobbs Eagles, make it 5.
That was some smart running from Baeza there. He got behind the lead block, and he could have accelerated past, but there was Lovington players everywhere, so he let the block develop. He didn't get a whole lot of yardage out of it, but he got a lot more than he would have if he just accelerated immediately.
Love the juke. Saw the shoulder pads kind of shimmy a little bit that time as he headed to the sideline, tried to see if he could cut it back. Instead went to the left side instead. 3rd down and 5 for the Eagles now at their 39. Oh, the center moved the ball and then snapped it a second time. I think he didn't know if he heard the snap or not count from this quarterback, and he pushed the ball back and then stopped it, and between his legs shoved it again. The whole line just stood there with cement on their feet.
Yeah, that was a fun one. It was almost as funny as the Dallas game last night where they called illegal motion on the entire offensive line. I don't think I've ever heard that call before. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, and not funny when you're a professional being paid millions of dollars and have to go watch the videotape and practice the next day.
Yeah, and actually I think it was probably the center's fault. If the rest of
Yeah.
the line jumped, that was probably the center's fault, but they got blamed.
Back them up 5 here, and the Eagles looking to the sideline for the play call. Back up to the line of scrimmage, kind of keep the defenders on their flat feet, waiting to see what's going to happen. 5:37 left in the second, 13-0. 3rd down and 5 for the Eagles at the 34.
It should be 2nd and 10. They haven't moved the stick back and changed it back to 2nd down.
Coach Gonzalez about 10 yards out of the field now. He actually sprinted out there. He's wearing shorts in this ball game. It looks like some PE shorts. Probably wants to put on a uniform out there.
They're saying 3rd and 10.
Yeah, 3rd and 10 back at the 34. Shotgun. Graham back to pass at the 25. Dances at the left hash. Rolls left, and he's getting it hit from behind and brought down by the back of the shirt. And that was a pull down there for Joseph Perez. And that'll be a loss in the backfield. So he's going to lose about 2 yards, it appears. But could have been worse. He didn't even know anybody was coming behind him that time.
Yeah, and you know what? The back that was blocking for him in the backfield, I didn't catch the number, actually kind of gave a little chip block right at the end that took away a little bit of the angle of the defender, and it took away his ability to strip him.
Silas Cern will be back to punt this time. 4th down and 12 for the Eagles at their own 34. Wildcats will send 2 back deep about the 30 on the other side of the football field. So they want to get a good run back. Not much time left in the half. 4:50, down 13-0. Eagles up. Cerna fakes. He's going to throw it to the right flat. A lofter. Cut at the 40, 45, 50 into Hobbs territory down to the 45. That'll be a 1st down pickup. A little trickery for the Eagles.
And right there, Cerna makes up for the earlier issue. Nice pass from Cerna, put it right on the money. Great fake there from Coach Stevens' squad.
That's James Moore, 26-yarder to him. Moves the chains for the 5th time for the Eagles. They're now 4 of 6 in the passing game. That was the biggest reception of the contest on the 4th and 12.
And thrown by the punter.
Moves it up to the 43 now of the Wildcats. Eagles will send 2 receivers left and 2 to the right side. Graham in the backfield has 1 with him. Man in motion, and they're going to fake, and now give it to Royal, the tailback on the right side. He heads up the hash and plows ahead for another 7 yards.
And just like that, the Lovington defense has been on a little longer, and you give up a play on special teams like that where you give up a 1st down. Right now, you're not feeling good about it. You're not out there playing with the same spirit. You're just kind of going through the motions. You can see it.
2nd down and 3 for the Wildcats for the Hobbs Eagles at the Wildcat 32-yard line. 2nd down, about 3. Twins left, 2 receivers right. Graham in the backfield with Royal. Royal on the left shoulder, bring a man in motion, right to left. Baeza, fake the handoff to him, back to passes Graham. Sends it down the middle on the seam, right over the shoulder. Caught on the 1-yard line, touchdown! Eagles with an over-the-shoulder catch. Ethan Van Landingham for the score. A 36-yard pass play. Eagles blanking the Wildcats, up now 19-0.
And that was what the Eagles wanted to do, is go in there and put one more nail in that coffin and try to just let Lovington know, hey, we're going to come out and try to blow you out tonight.
So Van Landingham, 32-yarder on that one. And now a late man getting on the field for the Eagles. Jose Navarro's out there to do some blocking on the right side of the line. Eagles had a couple of guys on the sideline not getting in on plays in this game. I'm sure they'll be discussing that at halftime as Baeza gets ready to kick. Chip shot is up, and it is good as Hobbs extends their lead, shutting out the number 1 4A Max Preps Wildcats 20-0 here at Watson Stadium. We'll be back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
You're clear. Ten. 5, 3, 2, 1, go.
20-0 your score here. Hobbs over the Lovington Wildcats, and the Eagles have dominated here in the first half. Here's Ty Friend.
Yeah, the Eagles are now converted on 4 passes in this game out of 6 attempts. That one a 26-yarder to Van Landingham. And a 20-0 lead, as you mentioned. I don't think the Wildcats were expecting to be in this situation with 3:55 left in the first half. As we get ready for the kickoff from Baeza. He's done it 3 times tonight, at least from touchdowns. Ball rolls, picked up at the 23, brought up the middle. Little delay on the run now as the big wall's starting to form, and only about a 4-yard return for the Wildcats. Eagles snuff it out quickly as they drop to the turf for the Wildcats. Tate and Hilliard at the 31-yard line. And not a lot of time to work with for Lovington. 3:36 left. And for some reason, they're running the clock. I'm not sure what that's all about with the 20-0 lead. It's running right now, but teams haven't even got back on the field.
I think that's called a mistake.
It's definitely not the mercy rule clock yet. 35 is when that starts to kick into play. Wildcats will have it 1st and 10 again from their own 32. They trail 20-0 here in the second quarter.
I don't think anybody on the Lovington side's noticed it. I'd be throwing a hissy fit if I was over there.
That's run off them almost a minute at a time there between plays.
It did.
And it always stops when you have a change of possession. First down for the Wildcats. Twins left and right. Eagles shifting their front line. Now 4 in the front and a big run to the middle. And the nose guard is going to get called for the offsides that time. The big boy jumping way off. Gavin Brumley, 315 pounds. Boy, he gets a quick step on you. You're flat because he's a quick kid from being 315 pounds.
He is. Luckily, he didn't completely hit him. He could have knocked him on his rear there. But it did stop the clock.
Well, the Eagles don't want to stop the clock.
That's true. That's true.
Another 5-yard penalty for Hobbs. That's the total now of 5 flags on the ground for 35.5 yards. First down and 5 for the Wildcats now at their own 37-yard line. Twins left and right. Aranda is the quarterback. Takes the snap, dumps it off to the right flat. Catch is made and trying to pull people with him for the Wildcat receiving corps, Tate and Hilliard. And here to drag the pile, trying to get out of bounds on that one. I think he might have got close. Looks like 8 yards for him.
4 yards. It was 1st and 5 there.
Oh, that's right, 4.
Yeah.
So 4 yards. He's got 3 catches for 19. That's the 6th reception for the Wildcats out of 13 attempts. So a 2nd down and 1 now. The ball at the 42 of the Wildcats on the right hash. Taking some time in the huddle, too, with just 2:24 remaining. No, the clock isn't stopping. They said he was left in bounds there. So that clock is running on him right now.
Yeah, it is. They're not in any hurry whatsoever.
They come back up to the line, a 2nd and short. Aranda will be in the backfield, has a man with him on the right shoulder. Twins left and right, receivers. Eagles will load up 7 in the box now. Delay handoff around the left end, looking enough for the first down, and then some. Plowing ahead is Anthony Gomez, as he'll get ahead for about 4.
And Hobbs didn't do a horrible job defending there. The linebackers came up. They had an inside blitz, and the outside linebacker ended up being the one that had to fill the hole. By the time he got there, he got 3 yards.
First down, fourth of that for the Wildcats. 1st and 10 from the 46. Back to pass down the middle. The seam route. Ball's tipped up in the air. Eagles on top of the receiver that time. And, boy, everybody involved in the middle of the football field as the pass was attempted about the 35-yard line into Eagle territory, bouncing off the numbers of Cesar Gonzalez. And who'd you see in there to knock that out?
James Moore was the one on the coverage, got his hand in there, and it made it difficult for the receiver to make the catch because the hand was there. And great job there by Moore on defense.
Wildcats 6 of 14 in the passing game. 2nd down and 10 does stop the clock for them with 1:50 remaining here in the second, down 20-0 to the Eagles. They have it at their own 46-yard line. Hobbs will put 4 up front on the D. Trips left, twins right for the Eagles, or for the Wildcats. Shotgun Aranda, back to pass, throws the out route, caught at the 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, and diving to the 32-yard line. That's going to be 17, 20, make it 20 yards. On the reception and making it for Lovington was Anson Marquez.
And Aranda has great speed there, and as he hit that corner, he was being covered by a linebacker who just could not keep up with him. And unfortunately, we ended up having to have our secondary come up and make that play.
17-yard reception, 5th first down now on 7 receptions total for the Wildcats. 1:43 remaining second quarter, timeout on the field. Hobbs up 20-0, but Wildcats are knocking on the door. Come back with us in 30 seconds on Cool 95.7 and YouTube.
You're clear. $15. $5, 3, 2, 1, go.
1:43 on the clock here at Watson Stadium in the second quarter. It's the Hobbs Eagles 20, the Lovington Wildcats nothing. And here's Ty Friend.
Coach, what do you think? The Wildcats definitely want to score on this drive, no question about it. But does that deflate the Eagles at that point to let them get any points in this first half after being up 20-0 for so long?
I think a little bit. I don't think deflate would be the word I'd use. I think that, you'd be like, oh, man, it'd be giving up a few points. I don't think that it completely takes the momentum that you have here. But you have a $143 to defend 33 yards. It's very doable for you, and I think Lovington has to come away with 7 or 8 here.
You got to remember, they've had 2 come-from-behind victories this season, too, against Roswell and Alamogordo. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at the Eagle 33-yard line. Randa's waiting for a hard snap count here. Trips right, receivers 2 left, back to pass, 3-step drop on the right hash. Fires down the middle of the post route to the 20, and zigzagging over the far sideline, getting tripped up in the last second. Adam Aguilera, he angled over the far left to try to get out of bounds, and I'm not sure if they're going to even give him the first down on this one, maybe barely, as he'll pick up 10, just barely 10. Second catch for 15 yards. Total, 6 first downs. That's the 8th reception for the Wildcats on the hurry-up offense.
And no pressure on the quarterback there. They didn't bring a blitz that time. Just sat back in coverage. He picked us apart.
1st and 10 from the 21. Trips right, twins left. 3-step drop. Shep's over the left side. Throws a left corner shot over the shoulder, and it's off the fingertips. Almost hit the Lovington Wildcat blow-up doll there behind the end zone and almost went right in the mouth of the Wildcat. I'm not sure if it's called a blow-up doll, but you know what I'm talking about, Coach. Quit your giggling. Give me a break. The inflatable, whatever.
Yeah,
inflatable.
You don't want to know my thoughts when you start saying stuff like that.
So an incomplete pass does keep the clock stopped. The 2nd down and 10. Like we said, coming about halfway through the first quarter, Ashton Aranda picked up the quarterback position there, and the starter has not been in since. 2nd and 10 now from the 21 of the Eagles. Clock to 1:15 remaining. Trips left, receiver right. They bring a man in motion from left to right. Back to passes around on the 3-step. He'll fire it to the far left sideline on the out route. He'll say they're going to call a catch. Nope, it went to the ground, and it will be incomplete for a 3rd down and 10. And they're starting to throw those to the sideline because they need to get out of bounds and keep this clock stopped as much as possible.
Yeah, and he had a little drag route across the middle, came all the way across. Quarterback waited so long it became almost an out route like what you're saying, and put the ball right on the money. You can't blame the quarterback for that. The receiver just dropped it.
They're now 8 of 18 in the passing game. 3rd down and 10. Left hash at the Eagle 21. Crowd's getting loud here. Both sides are getting loud here at Watson. Receivers line up everywhere, 3 and 2, left to right. Shotgun low, throw the quick back route, and it's almost intercepted. They tried to throw it ahead just a little bit across the line of scrimmage, a hot route on the right side, and the ball hits the turf. And I'm not sure if it was deflected or what, but I don't think a good follow-through on the throw there by Aranda.
And Chisholm had a beat on it right there as it went off the receiver's hands and into the air. Chisholm had a pick six. There was nothing between him and the end zone. He just couldn't quite get there to clean it up.
Lovington now facing the 4th down and 10 in Hobbs territory at the 21 of the Eagles. Definitely going for it as they trail 20-0 here late in the second with 1:07 remaining.
Crowd's getting into it. I hear the defense chant coming.
2 and 2 receiver core now. Aranda back with one backer to block. Takes a shotgun, 3-step drop, rolling right. Sets up, has 3 defenders coming at him, beats away from 3 of them, heads back to the left on the zigzag, throws it on the run to the far sideline. There's a flag, and play's going to be short regardless. Probably a hold by the Wildcats, but it will be about a 7 to 8 yard reception on that far sideline. Kind of a dump at the last second just to get rid of the pressure coming at him was Aranda on the throw.
And he got up a little bit ginger, too, on his ankle. He's running up to see if they got the first down, but he was limping all the way.
They will have the reception, whether or not they call the hold or the illegal block. Tate Hilliard got the 8 yard catch, but we'll see if that gets negated. Holding penalty. And they'll decline it. That means they will have to give up 8 yards, though.
I'd give up 8 yards for the ball back. At this point, you can just punt it away or run the clock out.
Yep, it will be declined. So an 8 yard pickup for Hilliard, but that will be a turnover on downs. Second time that's happened in this ball game. 2 turnover on downs and 3 punts for the Wildcats. That is the 4th catch for Hilliard, though, for 27 yards. He leads the Wildcats in the receiving corps.
I'm not sure why we're marking off the...
Yeah, they didn't take the penalty. It was declined. Coach Gonzalez out on the field now saying, hey, the penalty declined. Why are you marking it off? Yep, now they're going to move it back. Boy, that was a major mistake.
Yeah,
there.
I was kind of wondering what's going on that one.
Give the ball back to Hobbs and give him an extra 10 yards as a gift, too. Yeah, Gonzalez, Coach Gonzalez has been out there quite a bit, wearing his... looks like just pretty much casual shorts out there and a blue top tonight, and I think he's going to put that uniform on before this game is over.
Yeah, he might need to.
Of course, his team 3-0. Eagles came in with a 2-1 record. Only lost to Artesia in week 2. Hobbs would like to put another score on the board here with 57 seconds remaining. They'll have it at their own 20-yard line, up 20-0. Eagles have split formation backfield. Twins left, receiver right, shotgun to Graham, hand it to the left side. Here comes Trevino, 20, angling left, 25, to the hash, 30, and pulling more people with him. He'll get 11 yards, pulling some guys on backs like a saddle.
And what I loved about that play was Diego Baeza accelerating at the end of the play and obliterating the safety.
4 carries for 25 for Trevino. That will be a first for the 6th time for the Eagles. They'll have it on their left hash at the 32.5-yard line. And we got an injured player. That might have been Trevino that's limping off as he skips off the field, trying to keep the ankle up in the air. Yep, that is Trevino leaving the game. Don't want to see that. First down and 10 for the Eagles. 39 seconds left in the half. Got a handoff coming right angle to Baeza. He tries to spin in the middle at the 35, and he'll have another 3 added on. A timeout's going to be called by the Eagles. They want to get in the end zone one more time, Coach.
Yeah, you might as well just keep running it down their throat and see what you can get.
So 3rd down and 7 for Hobbs. They'll take the timeout at their own 36. We'll take a break here at Watson Stadium. Eagles up 20-0 over Lovington. 31 seconds left before the half. Come back with us in half a minute.
You're clear. $15. Five, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. 31 seconds left here in the second quarter. Hobbs 20, Lovington nothing. And Hobbs will have the ball here, trying to force one more set of points up on that board with 31 seconds, Ty.
Yeah, they're down 2-0 in the series over the last 2 seasons, and of course the last game was just in the spring, not many months back. So they definitely want to make a point here against the number 1 team out of the 4A. Shotgun to Graham, back at the 32, back down to the 25, throws it down the middle. Seabrow caught at the 50, Baeza spins, 45-40 of the Wildcats. They're trying to strip it from him. They're not going to get it from him, and he's going to continue on. Looks like for 27 yards. So Baeza with the big catch there, and I believe that's, his first catch of the ball game. 7th first down for the Eagles on 5 receptions, and now heading into Wildcat territory, a 1st and 10 with 19 seconds left in the half. They're up 20-0 at the 39-yard line. Twins left and right, shotgun to Graham. He'll stay flat-footed, throws it in the right flat, caught by Baeza. 40, heads to the far side, trying to get out of bounds. He might get a 1-yard net gain on that one, but he's slung down quickly.
And that'll end up causing a time to expire on the – actually, they're going to call a timeout with 1 second left.
Yeah, I heard the whistle blow right before the horn got ready to sound here. The clock will stop with 1 second, so Eagles will have one more heave-ho to the end zone, leading 20-0. And, again, some people can just blow this off, but I think it's kind of important to have a little bit more insurance points against a team that likes to come back in games this season.
Well, you know what? You're thinking insurance points. I'm just thinking running it up. I mean, it's your rival, and, it's one of those things that you want to score every point you can.
Some of the Wildcat fans have pulled out their phones and I got the flashlights on as they're shaking them at this point. I'm not sure what that's going to do to help your squad play some defense there on this play. But
it's actually a hello thing back and forth between both sets of stands.
I didn't see ours come up here.
Yeah, ours were doing the same thing back to them, and they all have their lights on.
Hey, this ain't a rock concert. It's a football game, Coach. What are you giving, play-by-play on that? Give me a break.
Hey, just helping you out, Ty.
Second down and 10 from the 39. Don't be going back on my blow-up doll comment earlier.
or the moon setting.
Yeah, the moon setting. Boy, tongue is going all over the place tonight. Second down and 10 for the Eagles at the Wildcat 39. This will be the last play of the first half, up 20-0. Twins left and right. Graham, 3-step drop. Steps up and throws for the 45. Dumps it in the right flat, but he throws it in the field turf. Intended for Baeza again, but no chance unless you had a shovel on that one, and that will end the first half of action. But the Eagles up big. And I'm sure a lot of people around Lea County are kind of wondering, how in the heck did they get up by this many points playing good football? 20-0 over Lovington. We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with the halftime festivities live at Watson Stadium, next on Cool 95.7 and YouTube.
You're clear. Two minutes. One minute.
Please add 1 minute.
Okay. 1 minute. $30. $15. Five, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, Watson Stadium. The Hobbs Eagles 20, the Lovington Wildcats nothing. And we have ourselves a game where Hobbs defense has come out yet again another week, and they're pitching a shutout here, Ty.
Yeah, definitely taking care of the business at hand here. Don't want to go 3 down in a row to the Wildcats, who come in last year, won 28-25, the year before 26-0. And, of course, right now, number 1 in the state in the Max Preps poll, of course, for the 4A division coach. And have won all 3 of their games against 5A opponents, and today it's a 6A.
You know, it was one of those things coming in. You looked at the comparisons between the two teams. They played some similar opponents, and they both had about the same spread. But you just kind of got a feel coming in that defense was going to be the name of the game. And if Hobbs could negate that speed from the Lovington side, they were going to have success. We talked about that in the pregame, and that's exactly what they've done. They've negated the long ball.
Well, let's take a look at some numbers in this game. First of all, for the Wildcats, in terms of the rushing department, not a lot going on in terms of running yardage. Their leader right now is Gomez. He was the starting quarterback, but haven't seen much of him lately since the first quarter. He's had 2 carries for 10 yards, including a 15-yarder, which actually was the best run of the ball game in the first half. A lot of the guys did touch the ball, but not a lot of yards to go along with it. Adam Aguilera had a carry for 5 yards, and these are just the ones that had positive yardage in the first half. Isaac Hinson 1 for 1. Rhonda, who came in at quarterback midway through the first quarter, had 4 carries for 4 yards. Also, it was Anthony Gomez, the running back, 2 carries for 8. And last but not least, Tayton Hilliard had a carry for 1 yard. So that's basically 7 guys that got to run the football. A total of 12 carries for just 27 yards. So kind of reminiscent of Roswell's rushing offense last week. Actually, they had that many yards in the passing game, only 4 in the running game. But Lovington not really known to being a big run-happy team anyway this year. They like to throw the football.
Yeah, but you got to have some balance. If you're not going to be able to throw the football and be able to move the ball consistently with that, you've got to be able to keep a defense on their toes. And really, they haven't done that so far in the game.
Yeah, in fact, Lovington against Roswell a couple of weeks ago threw for 420 yards against the Coyotes, so completely annihilating Roswell in that victory, a 31-25. Close game in the scoreboard, but not in the passing yards there. They threw 193 against Alamogordo last week and 127 to open up the season against Santa Teresa. Once again, all 5A opponents in those 3 victories. So right now, just 27 yards in the ground. In the air, 84 total. Hilliard has had 4 catches for 27 to lead the squad. Carrasco's picked up 1 for 15. Henson 1 catch for 10 yards. Also with the snag for the Wildcats receivers, Adam Aguilera. He's actually had 2 catches for 15. And last but not least for the Wildcats was Anson Marquez, a catch for 17 yards. They were 9 of 21 for 84 yards. A total of 111 in terms of offense on 21 plays. And, Coach, 8 or make it 9 of 21. That's 12 passes that have not been complete. A few drops in this game, a few deflections. Is that just the Hobbs Eagle defense getting in their heads?
I think it is. At this point, it looked like that we were invoking our will on them. And I think that's the biggest thing is that we came out that first series and just kind of smacked them down. And they looked like they were trying to fight, but they were pressing too hard. And they made a couple of mistakes, and all of a sudden you're down 2 touchdowns. And then Hobbs finds ways to make it 3 right there before half. It's certainly going to be something that's in your head.
Wildcats still managed to have 6 first downs in the first half. Had 3 early penalties, but kind of got back cleaned up on that. 3 for 15 total. They did punt 3 times, and the really important thing is they gave up 2 on turnovers on downs as well, and had that 1 interception picked off by Chisholm for the Hobbs Eagles. So right now 1 turnover, and if you want to get technical, 3 turnovers when it came on down. So that's what you're looking at in the first half for the Wildcats. Now for your Hobbs Eagles. The running game is dominant like it has been the first few weeks of the season. Leading in the numbers so far for the Eagles is Jaori Royal. He had the big run for 51 yards, also a 19-yarder, 4 for 79 so far. Definitely doing a good job of seeing the open gaps and going hard up the field. He leads the team in the rushing yards. Also in the first half for the Eagles, Diego Baez has had 3 carries for 49, including a 41-yarder. Definitely one of the strongest runners for the Eagles up to this point. Trevino, who's had his second game in a uniform this season, has 4 carries for 25, a 16-yarder, 11-yarder, and a 3-yard run for a touchdown. Also getting some runs in the first half for Hobbs, Colton Graham, the quarterback. $63 yards, so already the triple digits. Definitely some numbers you want to see. And a lot of different interchangeable parts in that running backfield.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the difference of having Caden Trevino as a threat out there opens up a lot of things for a lot of other people. And just having that kind of balance is just huge. And you can see it's really, really kicked the offense in second gear.
We got to remember, too, Corbin Thompson not even in the game tonight. This is the second game he hasn't played, so a lot of guys still taking care of business on the offensive side. In the passing department, the Eagles have gone 6 of 9 at this point in the passing game. Not a lot of big numbers, but some guys have come down with some big catches. James Moore had 1 for 26 on that fake punt. They kept the drive alive for the Eagles. Also, Diego Baeza had 2 catches for 28 yards, so those are 2 in double digits. Actually, excuse me, let me add that 3 total for Baeza. He had a 3 for 30 yards. I put him on 2 separate lines on my stat sheet here, so he had 3 catches total. Trevino had a catch for 7 yards, and Royal caught one at the line of scrimmage. Didn't get any yards on it, but he's 1 for 1 in the passing game. So Hobbs, once again, 6 of 9 in the passing department for 63 yards. Eagles have had 21 plays in the first half at a total of 226 yards of offense, once again compared to 111. So they have more than doubled this Lovington team in offense. Eagles have only punted 2 times so far, have not turned it over either on downs or on fumbles or interceptions. And in terms of penalties, 5 for 45 at this point, a couple of 10-yarders and about 3 5-yarders. So that's where you have it at this point. They do have 7 first downs in the first half.
And we talked about the turnovers. We said at the start of the game that turnovers would be one of the biggest factors in this game. And who's got the turnover battle right now? The Eagles.
And the scoreboard is well in their pocket, 20-0. Hobbs up on Lovington. Hobbs Eagle marching band out on the field now, and we'll take another 3-minute break and come back live with Hobbs Eagle football at halftime at Watson Stadium on Cool 95.7 and YouTube. You got us there?
You have us on break there, please?
Yeah, I got you now. Two minutes. 1 minute. $30. Five, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, Watson Stadium, 20-0. Your score, the Hobbs Eagles up on the Lovington Wildcats. And the Hobbs band out there with a great performance going on, Ty, as we get ready for the second half.
Yeah, boy, humid night in football, too. Definitely hot and sticky. I'm sure guys might be cramping up a little bit. They need to get a lot of water during that halftime break. And Hobbs, though, at the half leading by 20, and I'm sure Coach Stevens is saying you cannot go down in low gear now. You got to keep pushing it because Lovington's a team of comebacks. They've done it a couple times this season. Beat the likes of Roswell down 17-6 at one point. Last week down to Alamogordo until that last two-point conversion, less than a minute left. So they definitely can come back and get that momentum going. But at this point, you just take a look at this game and you think, I think Hobbs is getting sick of losing on their home turf to this team 2 times in a row, and enough is enough pretty much in their minds.
Yeah, and I think at this point they've got the hands on the throat. They're squeezing. They're just not planning on letting go. It's really important to finish what you start, and this Hobbs Eagle team certainly doesn't want to let up, and they certainly wouldn't want to have to live with themselves if they gave up a game like this when you had a 20-0 lead at the half.
Of course, last year we mentioned that 28-25 ball game here at Watson Stadium. That game was tied up at 7-7 at the half. Lovington outscored Hobbs 14-12 in the second quarter, and then 7-6 in the fourth. So they are up 21-18 in that second half of action to pull up the 3-point win. So definitely a game that Hobbs wish they could have back. Colton Graham was 10 of 16 in that contest for 107 yards. Caden Trevino had a rush for 4 yards. Corbin Thompson had 8 carries for 42. Of course, he doesn't get to play tonight, unfortunately, with an injury. He still has trying to get that hand back where it needs to be. That was also a game that Isaac Henson had 4 catches for 33 yards. Tate Hilliard 4 for 17. But those numbers aren't the same that they had last year in that receiving core. And I think it just seems like the passing game just isn't there. Gomez went out early in the first quarter. I'm going to have to double check it here when they come back to see if he's in civilian clothes at this point. They've had Aranda step up. A couple other guys have taken snaps in the backfield. But the passing that we've been seeing, Coach, kind of short in some places, kind of some sidewinders, some chucks on the run, kind of getting rid of it before they get sacked in the backfield. So not the clean, crisp stuff that you normally see with Lovington. They've gotten a few catches out of them. Some guys get down on the turf to scoop them up, though.
I think Hobbs done a great job of mixing up when they're going to come and press you on the outside and try to take away that short stuff, and when they're just letting back or kicking back and letting you try to throw it underneath. I think they're doing a great job mixing up. They blitzed a little bit, got a little bit of quarterback pressure on, not as much as you'd want, but they certainly did get in the quarterback's face a couple times and got a couple of hits in there. And I really think the second half, guys like Gavin Brumley on that line are going to have to get some penetration because Lovington's going to come out and they're going to try to score quickly. They know they've got to make up 20 points, and so they're going to try to do so probably through long passes. They're going to have to switch up what they're doing, and they realize it because any type of short, slow game passing is going to eat up a lot of clock.
I'm kind of wondering, though, with their backups that they've had in there, whether they have a long-arm quarterback like that. It doesn't look like Aranda has that type of arm at this point. He might be able to get out on the run and dump it, but I don't see long balls coming from him.
It certainly looks like a knuckleball coming out of there, and he's getting rid of it really quickly. I was very impressed with how quick the ball comes out, but it doesn't seem to have that zip and spiral when it comes out either. It just kind of floats there and shimmies a little bit in the air.
Of course, Lovington, we mentioned, had 3 punts, 2 turnovers on downs, and an interception by Chisholm for the Eagles. So right there, 6 possessions going in the toilet for the Wildcats. And that's one thing Coach Gonzalez said, and it's coming back to haunt him too. You got to take advantage of the plays that you get against Hobbs because it's not going to be consistent. It's going to be the big stuff. You got to convert when you can, slip through that open door, and then don't let it hit you in the butt.
Yeah, I like the way you finished it. That's exactly right, and there's no more truth that can be told to that. You certainly don't want that to come back to bite you.
Marching fight song here for the Hobbs Eagle marching band on the field right now as they finish up their halftime show. About 2 minutes before we get the clock expired, then the 3-minute warm-up period. I always hate when they add that on there. 20-0 Hobbs over Lovington. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes live on Cool 95.7 and YouTube.
You're clear.
Thank you. 2.5. Make it 3, please.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Two minutes. One minute. $30. $10. 5. 3, 2, 1. Go.
Welcome back. 20-0 your score. The Hobbs Eagles up on the Lovington Wildcats as we finish up all of the halftime festivities. The bands are off the field. Both teams getting their warm-up time in here. And any keys to victory at this point for the Hobbs Eagles is going to evolve around the clock here.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And Lovington really didn't show a get up and go that you would expect there late in that second quarter. They kind of took some time, and we saw a lot of the clock running down in between turnover possessions and things like that. You kind of wondered what was going on. And like you said, the coaching staff must not have noticed that up on the scoreboard, that probably about a minute or so worth of time was being cut off the board there as they were changing possession out on the field at certain points of that late part of the second quarter. So, again, they got to play football. It's not going to help a 20-0 deficit worrying about the clock as much. But, again, I think you had to see more urgency out there. And, again, you're also dealing with the elements, too. Very hot, humid down on the field. I just stepped out of the press box. Did feel a little bit of a wind. I don't know where it's not coming into the box here, but down on the field, it's kind of tough to deal with that conditions. This type of weather is going to get a lot of Charlie horses and pulled muscles. That if you don't get a lot of water in you, that's going to be a problem.
And I mentioned this during one of the breaks here. There's a lot of smoke in the air, too. You're not really seeing it seeing the smoke in the air like visibly, but there's a lot of smoke particles in. You can see it during the sunset. The sun was just bright orange. And that's usually a sign that there's like either dust or smoke in the air. And there's a huge fire that's feeding New Mexico full of smoke right now. It was on the news, and I think that's in the air too. So it really kind of congratulates in your lungs. You breathe that stuff. It affects you in games like this.
Of course, this is also a big rival game, too. I mean, always the debate is, does it ever benefit Hobbs either way? You're expected to win because of the bigger division team. If you lose, boy, that's an embarrassment. So I know it's kind of tough to fight that argument every year. They've been off this. Some of the times they have to shut this series down. The early 80s from about 79 to about 84, I believe it was. They didn't play a game with these two teams, and there's been another set where they didn't have one either. But I mentioned in the pregame show, Hobbs has the overall win-loss record of 52-28, but there's been some years that Lovington's dominated 6 wins in a row from 85 to 90, 93 to 98. And since 1985 up till now, Lovington has the better record, 18-16 against the Eagles out of the total of, 34 games that they played. So they've won 18 out of the 34 since 85. So seeing some better advantage here, especially with those 2 6-win blocks that they've had. Hobbs, of course, before the 85 time, they've had years of 10 wins in a row. We mentioned that in the 40s and some of those years. But still, Lovington's building a program. If they would have had a full season last year, more than likely would have been in the championship game. They kind of were in the bowl game against Bloomfield, a game that they did win in that one. And that was a close game up there in Albuquerque, too. Their only loss of the season, surprisingly, last year, Coach, was 50-0 to Goddard. And, of course, Hobbs has added Goddard to their schedule back again this year, next week, actually.
And that'll be a good game. Goddard's a squad that you can use as a litmus test for see how far you've come.
And 20-0 your score. That's going to be the big question. Who's going to stay in the chutes, come out hard in this third quarter, and not cough up the football and give short field positions to the other squad? I think that, like you mentioned, the battle of the turnover, something you said from the start of this ball game. We'll see if that comes back to haunt anybody.
Let's see if they do an onside kick here too. It's at this point they've got to find ways to get the ball back. Why not try right here?
Lucas Contreras will kick for the Wildcats, and the Eagles have had a little bit of issues returning balls this year, both on the kick return and punt returns. They've had some fumbles that gave it right back to their opponents, so don't want to have that happen. It'll be a long kick down a sidewinder, be caught at the 6-yard line. Starburst situation, and they'll head it off, fumbled on the near sideline, brought up by Baez at 20-25, and he shoved hard. He beats off one defender, takes up the field, knocks around a couple of more. The human battering ram gets out to the 38-yard line. Boy, that was a 1-on-5 situation.
And we're smiling at watching what Baeza does to finish that run. Right at the end of that run, James Moore crushes one of the Lovington players trying to get another lead block out there. It was beautiful. It was hard-nosed football. That's what we want to see from this black and gold squad.
Did you expect to see a starburst, though, Coach?
They ran it earlier. This is not anything new. This is what they do.
Eagles will have some good field position at the 38-yard line, leading 20-0 here in the third quarter. Listening live to Cool 95.7 and YouTube, and a late player getting off the field. Coach Gonzalez screaming at him to get the heck off. He was kind of jogging at first. He paid the price from his head coach. Hand off to Royal late around the end to Royal. Tries to head to the left side, and boy, nothing going on that one. He had a trail of white uniforms on his back like a tail, and he went down hard, and boy, I felt sorry for him because you can see the minute that ball was handed to his fingertips, he was being rolled over.
Yeah, the Lovington Wildcats read that very well. I don't think they had any problems with any of the words in that play.
Royal now with a total of 5 carries for 74 yards, had 79 at the half. Actually, they lose him, 5 on that one. Bunch of guys involved in the tackle for the Wildcats. Going to the left. Second down and 16 for the Eagles at the 32. Twins left and right, shotgun to Graham. Back to pass out a 4-step drop, gets put out of the pocket, throws an out route. Hard throw through the hands of Royal on the near sideline, and he might have been hearing footsteps because the 2 number 6s are on a head-on collision course there. The defender coming at him, Joseph Perez. The ball was kind of thrown out a little bit ahead. He kind of reached out with his fingertips there. If he would have caught it, he would have had his bell rung, I think.
I think you still got to make that catch there. You can't be looking to see what's coming around you. You got to concentrate on what your job is to do.
So a miss on that one. 6 of 10 in the passing game for the Hobbs Eagles. They had 63 yards in the first half. And they'll set up again with a 3rd down and 15 at the 32. Shotgun Graham, reverse, left to right. That's Trevino to the 35, hash mark 40, 45, 50. Wildcat 10, 20, 40, 30, and down at the 28-yard line for a first down pickup.
And Trevino has absolutely been a Wildcat killer today. He just has such acceleration and explosion from the line of scrimmage.
39-yard pickup for Trevino. That's 5 carries now for 65 yards, and the 8th first down for the Eagles now in Wildcat territory. They'll be at the 29-yard line of the white and blue. The Eagles will quickly line up a stack look, 2 receivers left and right. One behind each other. Shotgun to Graham. Turns and fires back to the near sideline. A drop there by Trevino. Do they call that a catch first? No. They say he bobbled it. Luckily, it was dropped right in the laps of the Wildcats on the near sideline. Went right through the slot machine, and unfortunately, coughed it up there through his legs, Coach.
Yeah, and you know what? He was probably better off dropping that one than catching it anyway. It would have been a loss. You know, I know he was trying to make the catch. It wasn't an intentional drop, but there was just too many white jerseys in that area.
And it's on the short side of the field. There's only about 8 yards between the line of scrimmage where the football snapped and the Hobbs Eagles sideline. So that would have been not an easy play to jog up that sideline anyway. 2nd down and 10 for the Eagles. The lineup 2 left, 2 right on the receiving core. Shotgun for Graham back at the 35. He's on the right hash, throws the drag route, caught by Trevino right to left on the 25, cuts up to the left hash 20 and the 19. That extra push got him an extra 2 yards for 12, and he'll move the chains again for the Eagles.
You know, Trevino is just absolutely all over the field. Nice little delivery there from the quarterback. Trevino catches it on the run. They have him contained, but what he does is duck that shoulder, cut back upfield, gets north and south, takes as much yards as he can get.
2nd catch, 19 total. That was a 12-yarder there. The 9th first down for the Eagles now 7 of 12 in the passing game for a total of 75 yards. Back to pass, Graham. Bad snap, low on the ground, picks it up, throws it down the middle seam on the right side of the end zone, overthrows his receiver. He was just trying to unload that as he had pressure coming off a low snap. And near the back line, wide open for about 7 yards between him and the defender. Don't tell me that was Trevino again. Yes, it is. That kid is going to be everywhere, like you mentioned a second ago.
Yeah, and you know, he had a couple of steps on the defender right there, but Graham couldn't quite get his rhythm on that. The ball was low when he popped it up. By the time he unwound it and uncorked it over to Trevino, he just wasn't quite on his rhythm and overthrew it.
Eagles this season in the passing game, not as dominant as they have been in the past, but of course they've amped their run up just a bit. They have 369 yards coming in. Fake the handoff, dump it in the right flat, caught for the Eagles. Trying to skip around his defender is Ethan Van Landingham and slid right to left towards the hash right side. And he's going to pick up a few yards on that one, about 5 for Van Landingham.
And that'll bring up a 3rd and short situation right here. You know, we're probably close enough where we can probably punch it in with a field goal if it comes to 4th down. But I have a feeling with the choices that Coach Stevens been making in this game, he's probably going to go for it on 4th down.
First catch for Van Landingham for 5 yards. 2nd down and 5 now. Eagles have it at the 14. They're not taking a real quick look at the offense either. They can run the clock up by 20 here in the 3rd. Twins left and right. It'll be Trevino going in motion right to left. Fake the handoff to him. Go back to Roy on the right side. 15-10 and strung down by his neck out of bounds at the 10-yard line, as he'll pick up another 4.
Makes it about a 4th and 2 here. Now we get to find out if I'm right, if Coach Stevens goes for it, if he's going to try that field goal.
6 carries now for 78 yards for Royal. And a 4th down and about a yard to go for the Eagles. That'll be at the 9 of the Wildcats.
What a time. The Lovington Wildcats know this is an important play. What a time to run a freeze play, try to get them jump off sides.
Yeah, that'd be a good point there. Make it a little bit harder to get that first on another play call. Twins left and right for the Eagles. 4th and less than a yard to go at the 9 on the right hash. And there's a defender for Lovington offsides. And that's what you wanted, Coach. And the right defensive end is the man that bites on it and lunges across. That's, I believe, Joseph Perez over there on that right end. And that will be an easy call against the Wildcats. It'll be half the distance, so about the 4.5-yard line is where they'll move it up to.
And that's a free first down right there. It was a great time to run a freeze, run a check with me where you try to get them offside. If it doesn't work, you either call a timeout or you change the play and call something else. But it was obvious to me that you want to earn the yards. You can go ahead and get them to jump. It's free.
4 penalties for 20 now for the Wildcats, as it'll be a first down for the Eagles. They're 10th of the ball game from the 4. The fumble on the snap picked up by the Eagles, and trying to advance it is Graham, angle right. And he luckily able to get the scoop underneath at that time. He's going to probably lose a yard as his knee went down at about the 5, so -1 on that one. But definitely a good recovery for the Eagles.
And here we go with the woes. We get inside the 5 again. We're struggling to score. We trying to find a way just to power it in and put that ball in the end zone.
Red zone has been a juggernaut in some of the games. We saw about 3 of them against Artesia inside the 20, even down inside the 5. A couple of plays series and weren't able to punch it in. We got 3 in the backfield as waiting for the shotgun. Graham's going to hand from right to left to Royal to the 5. Trying to skip outside. He breaks a tackle and lunges to the 2 near the goal line. Eagles are showing touchdown, but not the referee, is he? Yes, the back judge calls the touchdown. Kind of wondered about that. The back judge is on the back end of the end zone. The 2 on the lines didn't call it, but let's take it for Royal as he gets in from 4 yards out, and the Eagles expand to 26.
And, that's one of those plays right there where Royal just forced himself into the end zone. He was hit actually just right about the line of scrimmage. He got himself north and south, drug the defender, and just found some way to get himself across.
Well, 2 years ago, Eagles were beat 26-0 here. Hobbs trying to change that to a win in their column by the same margin or more. We got plenty of game left. Baez's kick is up, and it's going to be good just inside the right upright. We've got 8:43 remaining here in the third. Hobbs extends their lead over the Lovington Wildcats, 27-0 here at Watson Stadium. We're coming back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
You're clear. Ten. 5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. Watson Stadium, 27-0. The Hobbs Eagles are trouncing all over the Lovington Wildcats here. And, Lovington comes in as the #1 team in the state right now. And I think Hobbs is trying to make a statement about where they should be ranked.
Yeah, they're definitely getting a lot taken care of here. Lots of guys have scored. Trevino had the first 2 touchdowns, a 3-yard run and a 7-yard pass in the first quarter. Ethan Van Landingham, who I stole a pass reception from a few minutes ago, he had his second catch, a 32-yard reception in the second quarter, made it 20-0. And now here in the third, Royal with the 4-yard run makes it 27-0. So go back to Van Landingham for a second. He has 2 catches for 37 yards to lead the Eagles right now, and things looking good both sides of the football for Hobbs.
And I have a feeling that they really aren't going to call off the dogs in this one. This is a rivalry game, and Lovington stuck it to Hobbs a couple of times, and I don't think that's ever going to be out of your memory.
Brian Baeza to kick off from the 40 near the left hash for the Eagles. And here comes the kick on the ground, takes a roll, goes back to the 25. It's going to take a big hit and roll back past the returner. He has to chase it back to the 3-yard line, tries to cut it back up the middle, bats it off defenders, and goes down at the 8-yard line. That was Adam Aguilera, and he's just lucky to be on his feet by the time that thing is done. He was getting knocked around like a pinball.
And he almost broke that last tackle. James Moore had jersey in his hands, and that's all he had was holding on to the jersey with his hands. He spun around, and everybody was stuck on the inside. Had Moore not been able just to stay holding on to that jersey, he might have actually had a long run out of that in the end, but
of course,
Moore did a great job.
Coaches always Tony not to shirt tackle, but he'll take it on that one.
Yeah, and it wasn't as if, Moore missed the tackle, that's all he got. Moore was way out of position, got hit by somebody, and all he did was just reach out and grab onto whatever he could have right there and then held on for dear life.
So 27-0 your score after that 4-yard run for Royal. Now the Wildcats emergency down by the big ones. Trips left, Twins right. They give the handoff on the reverse left to right, stringing it out to the far right sideline as Aguilera heads to that side towards the Wildcat Stadium sideline and makes it up for about 3 yards.
And that was, very well-designed play. He had the hole that he needed to initially. Hobbs did a great job of keeping the contain, forcing it back to the linebackers, And that was just a sound offensive play and a sound defensive play. Neither one spectacular. Both did their job.
Liberal spot on that when they give him 4. So Aguilera now with 2 carries for 9 total at the 12-yard line. 2nd down and 6 for the Wildcats on the right hash. Again, they don't have a lot of time to spend in the huddles now with here in the third quarter down 27-0. Clock down to 7:50 left. Trips left, receivers 2 to the right. Shotgun to himself is Aranda. Brings back a man with him for blocking as he drops back 3, fires it to the right side of the field. I'm not sure what the pattern was. Two guys, receivers, almost ran into each other out there. Looked like one was trying to do a seam route, the other maybe a post, but they almost collided.
Yeah, he intended to hit the inside receiver on the skinny post, and it looked like it was a busted play right from that point. The ball was overthrown, either one of those receivers. Chisholm had a chance at that one. He just didn't quite have the beat on it because he was playing the man instead of the ball.
Boy, Chisholm's like a magnet to the football. Had the INT last week against Roswell, one of three the Eagles got, and this week had the pickoff already against Lovington.
And had two other opportunities as well.
Second down, or make it third down and 7 now for the Wildcats at their own 13-yard line, trailing 27-0. Eagles got 4 on the front, on the D. Twins left and right. Long wait on the snap here. Finally, they get it to Aranda. He fakes the pass, rolls right, throws it on the run. With the curl route, caught at the 23, and it's stripped away by the Eagles. Might have been INT on that one, couldn't tell. He runs it back to the 6-yard line. The ball was juggled, and I believe the strip and go for the Eagles. Let's see who comes up with that. That might have been Moore.
I think it is Moore. It is James Moore. And it was one of those things, the receiver had the ball in his hands, but he couldn't quite get control. It pops out, and Moore just zeroed in on it, stole it, and returned it all the way down deep in Lovington territory.
Yeah, boy, we might love to see that back on video. If you're watching on YouTube, we don't have instant replay, but first of all, it looked like he might have stripped it, but I think he stripped it out of his hands. It didn't hit the turf, I don't think, and he's able to go with it. So I'm not sure what are we going to call that, an INT or a fumble?
I would call it an INT. I don't think he had complete possession of it.
So that one by Moore, the second turnover for the Wildcats. The Eagles have it deep in their territory now at the 7-yard line. Back to pass, Graham turns and fires a screen to the right side to Baeza, spins at the 10, 5, breaks a tackle, takes 2 more at them, down to the 2, and that kid runs a lot bigger than his size out there. Of course, Baeza just 5'8", coach, but he takes a whole load with him.
And, you know, that play right there reminded me of something Barry Sanders might do. You know, you got hands on him, and all of a sudden he just spins so quickly away from you, you can't quite get him down.
He's got 4 catches for 35 yards now, does Baeza.
And they're looking to bring a big package into the game. You know, number 90, Blake Hensley, is being hollered at the coaches. Hey, we want to go big package. Come over here and push the ball in.
Second down and goal from the 2. Shotgun to Graham. Fakes the handoff to his tailback. Tucks it and goes left. Heads to the goal line. He'll get about 1.5 yards, but his knee's going to go down before he hits that goal line for the TD.
And here comes the big jumbo package. They brought in both Omar Argot, who's a backup quarterback. He looks like he's going to go into a tight end position, and Blake Hensley's also doing so. And they bring 2 wide receivers off the field.
Of course, Argot also a starting linebacker for the Eagles. Or that's the other kid.
Argot,
the other Argot, correct. But should mention Graham now has 6 carries for 15 yards, and now we got a big lineup here as Graham has got a split formation. He's going to send one of his backers over to the left side to play receiver Van Landingham. Hands it up the middle. Instead is that Royal as he dives over the top with a somersault and scores for the Eagles. A 1-yard run for J.R.E. Royal. That's his second TD here in the third quarter.
And that makes it 33-0 with a pending kick coming. Wow, Hobbs Eagles dominating the Lovington Wildcats.
Yeah, they get it to 35, Coach, and we got the mercy rule clock in effect, which is going to be a point shy with the PAT here, but still, 35 is the magic number here to keep that clock running, even on incomplete passes and stuff like that.
Before we lined up to do this game tonight, I don't think either one of us saw this coming.
Well, the whole Lea County did. This is number 1 team in the 4A on the Max Preps poll this week with a 3-0 record and a 2-win game winning streak over the Eagles here at Watson Stadium. And some crazy schedules, Coach, we should mention, too. And, of course, Hobbs had to play Clovis a couple of times on the road back-to-back seasons, too. And now Wildcats have to come to Watson Stadium. A long delay on this PAT. I'm surprised there's still 10 seconds on the field clock there.
They're going for it.
Graham's going to get ready for the shotgun. He's going to pitch on the reverse left. They're going to throw a deep pass to the right corner. The receiver was already out of bounds that time as the chuck from the backfield for Hobbs rolling from left to right was Ethan Van Landingham. But his receiver, as I mentioned, was already about 5 yards out of bounds. And I don't know what happened, whether he got shoved or what, but he had no chance to come back to catch that. That was actually Trevino out there on the right side of the end zone.
When they kind of tossed it up there, the throw was way too slow. When the throw was let go, he was wide open, had about 5 yards to the edge of the end zone. but instead of throwing a bullet to him, they lofted it up there, and he had no chance to make that catch.
So back-to-back touchdowns for Royal on the last two possessions, and the Eagles up 33-0 here in the third. 6:06 remaining. We'll take a fast 30-second break and come back live on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and Cool 95.7.
You're clear. Ten. Three, two, one, go.
Welcome back, 33-0. The Hobbs Eagles are leading over the Lovington Wildcats. Here's Ty Friend.
Getting ready to kick off as Baez is getting kind of tired with these kickoffs. He's had 5 kicks on TDs here in this ball game. Missed the 2-point conversion. Hobbs took a lot of time to get all their personnel out on the field on that last conversion attempt, but I think they're pretty happy with the scoreboard at this point, with the Wildcats coming in with a 3-0 record. Eagles at 2-1 will be on the road next Friday at Goddard in Roswell at the Wool Bowl. Wildcats will be playing Denver City. The ball kept on the ground by Baez. It takes a few bounces. Wildcats pick it up at the 20. To the middle of the field, zigzagging and dragging people for about 5 more yards for Lovington before being brought down by a big wall was Marcus Tarango. And so they'll make it to the middle of the field there about the 31-yard line. And now the Wildcats, who've yet to score or even getting close to the end zone in this ball game, you start to wonder maybe this weather is starting to affect them just a bit.
And at this point, I think Coach Gonzalez is probably over there just saying, hey, guys, let's run our plays, calm down, just do your job, and let's see what happens.
33-0 the score with 5:59 remaining in the third. 2 receivers head right, 3 to the left side, so definitely going to be a passing situation for Aranda unless he tucks it and goes. He's pretty agile as a QB. Came in as a backup in the first quarter. He'll back up 3 on the shotgun, roll left. He wants to throw. Curl route, caught at the 35. And that'll be about a 4-yard pickup, trying to drag some people along with him to that left side.
Argot on the tackle over there. He did a great job beating in on him and preventing any more yards.
That was Isaac Henson who gets the catch. They're going to give him about 5 on that one. As Henson, just his second catch of the ball game, 15 total. That's the 10th reception for the Wildcat receivers. 2nd down and 5 from the 35 on the left hash. Trips right, 2 receivers left. Again, Aranda by himself. Shotgun, fakes the pass, runs up the middle, and tries to backpedal it. He's not going to get much on that one, an extra yard of the forward progress, but Eagles snuffed that one out quickly. They're not going to be watching the head fakes on that one. The Eagles did a great job of getting low, too, to put a helmet down. That was Aldo Argot, the linebacker, in there first.
And about 8 Hobbs Eagles ended up joining him on the tackle by the end of it.
So that carry for 1 yard, it looks like. They're going to give him barely the forward progress on that one by Aranda. That was his first official carry of the ball game. 3rd down and 4 now for the Wildcats at their own 36. Down 33 zip. 2 receivers left and right. Shotgun. Back to pass on a 2-step drop. Rolling left, Aranda breaks pressure to the 35. Tucks it 40. 45 sideline 50 and pushed out of bounds. He will get the first down that he needed. And that's going to be about 18. Actually, no, I think going to mark it back even further than that. More like 14 for him. Quarterback now with 2 carries for 15 yards, both here in the third quarter, and the 11th first down. Or excuse me, I'm putting him on the wrong side here. Let's go back here and I'm putting him on the Torino side, I think.
I think there's a hold behind the play. The coaches kind of pointed at it and mentioned it, but they didn't fulminate over it. They just kind of let it go.
Let me correct that now. Aranda is now 6 for 19 in the running game. That was a first down pickup, the 7th in the contest for the Wildcats. Trips right, receiver left, back to pass Aranda, 2-step drop, steps up in the pocket, throws it to the curl route to the 45 of the Eagles, getting the first down plus 14 total, and out to the middle of the field at the 41. So 14-yard pickup.
And Lovington's starting to get their offense going here. And, you know, it's one of those things. They just settle down and start just doing what they do, and they're having a lot more success. Now the Hobbs Eagles are going to have to counter and say, hey, you know what, I want to pitch this shutout tonight. I'm going to have to find a way to stop them here.
14 yards for Henson on that one. Make a 3rd catch for 29 yards. And that'll be the 8th first down. Ball marked at the Eagle 42. As they go back to shotgun with the Ronda. Trips right, receiver left. One lone running back. One step drop. Curl route is deflected at the line of scrimmage. The Eagles get a paw up on it and knock it back to the turf. Want to see who we had out there to jack that one down that time. Believe out there for the Eagles was Blake Hensley. The defensive end got a piece of that one as it goes incomplete down to the field turf.
And that ends up making it a 2nd and 10 situation. If Hobbs is going to get a stop, this is probably the place to do it.
2nd down and 10 from the 42. 33-0 Eagles here in the third quarter with 4:05 remaining. Clock stopped on the incomplete. Trips left, receiver right. Aranda waiting for the shotgun. Gets it low. 3-step drop, has pressure. Flushed out for a second, and he's going to get dropped back at the 50-yard line. 8-yard loss on the play. Big pileup for the Eagles.
And that's exactly what the Eagles wanted here. You drive him all the way back to the 50. Not only is it 3rd and long, you kind of got some of that yardage back right there.
Boy, big kid in there, too, for the Eagles to put him down to the turf. Andre Alvarado, I believe that's his 2nd sack of the ball game, the defensive lineman. -8 for Aranda. That's his 2nd negative of the ball game. He's got 7 carries for 11 yards and a 3rd down and 18 now for the Wildcats. Now back at the Eagle 49, so they're going backwards on this offense, as they were starting to knock on the door just a bit, but this is going to be a big play for Coach Gonzalez and the Wildcats. Now 4 receivers left, and we got a whistle, maybe a illegal motion there, as a man came in motion from right to left for the Wildcats. No, delay game.
Yeah, it took a little bit too much time getting set up there. Ended up costing them 5 yards and kind of showed their hand what they wanted to do on that play.
That's the 5th penalty now for 25 total for the Wildcats, and now they're back in their own territory as they move it back to the the 46-yard line. Trying to get it lined up here. The umpire had to look to the sideline and get a
the line
spot.
Judge on the sideline was trying to give him 10. Both him and the first down marker kept walking. He's like, whoa, hey, we're stopping over here, boys.
So now back at the 46-yard line. They need to get 22 down to the Eagle 32 on a 3rd down situation. Trips left, 2 receivers right. One of the receivers putting his hands up in the air because he didn't know what the play call was. Shotgun back to Aranda. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to run out with it. Tries to throw it on the run down the near sideline. Just kind of threw it across. He might have been across the line of scrimmage. Illegal pass possibly as he came across, and I believe they caught him in the line. Did they, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, he crossed the line by about 2 yards before he threw that. And looking at the result of the play, what do you want to do here? Just decline it and let him punt.
Yeah, because it's a 4th and 22 if they do decline the penalty. He was just trying to get away from the pressure. He got the pocket collapsed in the middle, and he started coming out towards the left and kind of just darted it out to the near sideline. Thought the ball should have been caught out there. Well, that's an automatic loss of down, too, on the 3rd. So,
yeah,
you don't even need to take the penalty. Well, actually, you do. If you take the penalty, you'll lose the down for you.
That's true.
So 4th down regardless for the Wildcats. This will be their 4th punt situation. They've also turned it over on downs twice and have had 2 INTs. We had Moore and Chisholm with the pickoffs for the Eagles. That's also, by the way, a 5-yard penalty, so they had to mark that off as well. That'll be back at the 42. So 4th and 27 now for the Wildcats. Eagles, of course, faked a punt earlier in this game in the first half. And now they're in punt situation. Bring a man in motion left to right. And the punt will be away as it goes off the foot of Adam Aguilera. Eagles catch it at the 15, 20, 25, 30, near side, 40, 45, 50, to the Wildcat 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, and a touchdown! They moved it from the 19 into the end zone. Unbelievable return.
Hector Armendaris.
That's 80. Well, that would be from the 31. That's going to be 69 yards on the return.
Amazing run. Got some great lead blocks out there. And it looked like Lovington didn't even want to defend. They didn't even try to keep the contain. Armendaris turned it into a foot race, and he won it at the end.
We'll have to double check on where that beanbag was dropped there. I thought it looked like he put it down at the 31 possibly. We'll get the numbers on that here in just a second. Touchdown nonetheless for the Eagles. 50 plus, let's put it that way right now. And the PAT is fumbled on the snap. Chasing away with it is Van Landingham. He's going to get swamped down at the 19-yard line on the right hash, trying to get away from all the white and blue coming after him. And they've had some issues on some of the snaps on the PATs and a little extracurricular after the play, too. We'll take a break here at Watson Stadium. It's 39-0. Eagles up on Lovington. Come back with us in 60 seconds here on Cool 95.7 and YouTube.
You're clear.
Thank you.
$60, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. $30. $10. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. 39-0. The Eagles are absolutely bouncing all over here on these Lovington Wildcats. Hector Armendaris, 69-yard touchdown return on a punt, and the Eagles kicking off here from their own 40 tie.
Coach, we also forgot, too, that mercy rule's under effect now. The 35-point lead means that the clock will run. Incomplete passes, penalties, movement of the ball on the first down marker, all that stuff. Usually you stop the clock on that, those type of things. Out of bounds even will continue to run. So that will mean Lovington will have to be urgent on their offensive side of the field here as we get ready for Baeza to kick it off from the 40. Keeps it on the ground on a roll. It'll be scooped up at the 15-yard line, picked up at the 20, up the middle to the 25, heading to the far side and going down at the 26-yard line. And that, once again, just like the last kick return, Marcus Tarango, as he'll get peeled off the turf there, taken down hard for the Eagles by Hector Armendaris. Boy, he's getting a lot of name calls here, Coach.
It's a great kid. Hard-nosed, plays hard, loves the game, and, he's going to do anything you ask him to do. He's just one of those kids who's going to be, yes, sir, and go out there and put his helmet on things.
Wildcats break the huddle as they step up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. Not their best field position of the night. Trips left. Receiver right, Aranda with the running back in the backfield. Actually, they put back another quarterback. That might be the starter. Gomez chucks it to the 50 on the far side. Fade. Ball's volleyballed up in the air, incomplete. And the receiver did get a hand on it, but he fell backwards, but hit the turf there. Incomplete as that pass was intended for Tate and Hilliard.
Nice little juggling act there by both players. In the end, nobody could come down with it.
They are 11 of 27 in the passing game, the Wildcats. Probably their worst performance in terms of the passing game this season. 2nd down and 10 down from the 26-yard line. Waiting for the shotgun. Gomez hands it off up the middle. Bouncing around right to left as he pinballs across the middle of the field there for just a couple-yard gain. That's that return man that we've seen a couple times here, Marcos Taranga, as he'll get about 2.5.
And, that's the play right now that's going to eat up a lot of clock. Not the kind of plays of a team that thinks they're going to come back and win this game.
3rd down and 8 now from the 27. Pair of receivers left and right. Shotgun. Gomez, 2-step drops. Back of the 20. Rolls left. Got some chase on him from behind. Goes to the near sideline. Chucks it down the sideline on the left. In front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. Looked like he was out of bounds already. And getting kind of shoved around after the play. Better be careful. That sideline get a little rough with it for the Hobbs Eagles here near left. Isaac Henson, the intended receiver, incomplete.
And the Hobbs coaching staff got there real quick and kind of surrounded the player. Helped him up. Smart thing for coaches to do anytime a player from another team ends up on your sidelines. If you get there quickly, nobody else does.
Wildcats facing another punt in this game. They've had 4 already, 2 turnovers on downs, and a couple of INTs given up.
Armendaris back there again. Can you take another one to the house?
Man in motion left to right, and the kick will be made from the 23-yard line. takes a roll to the 32, picked up by Armendaris to the 37 and to the 40-yard line. About a 9-yard return that time, middle of the field. So the Hobbs Eagles getting another possession, getting a lot of offensive looks in this contest as they're up 39-0.
Only 15 seconds left in the third quarter, but the fourth quarter is going to go really quick here with that running clock.
How much do you get your second and third stringers in at this point, or do you kind of wait till the fourth and make it a whole quarter?
You go ahead and start getting them in. Anytime you get a rolling clock, that's about the time to get it going. And Hobbs wisely lets the time run out right. The clock starts as soon as the ball got set down. Time ran out. That's the end of the quarter.
Yep, disappeared numbers on the scoreboard except for the points. 39-0. Eagles up big. Mercy roll clock continues in the fourth quarter. You're listening to Hobbs Eagle Football live on Cool 95.7 and YouTube, the home of the Hobbs Eagles.
You're clear. $15. $5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. 39-0 your score here as the clock starts here in the fourth quarter with the running clock. Here's Ty Friend.
Second down and 6 now as the Hobbs Eagles just going to run some timeout as they have it at the 44-yard line. Up 39-0. Shotgun as they hand the football around the right end. And I think they might have got a new quarterback in this game here, Coach. I'm checking the number right now.
That's Argot. That's Omar Argot, yeah.
So Argot is the one that comes in.
He's a 6'2 junior.
That was Baeza with the couple-yard run. Looks like he picks up 2. So Baeza now with 5 carries for 51 yards. And they're just staying, looking at the sideline, letting that clock continue to run. Mercy roll underway. 35 is the actual roll that you get for the Mercy roll clock, the point spread. Third down and 5 for the Eagles now. Trips left, receivers 2 to the right. Shotgun for Argot. Delay handoff. No, he takes it himself around the right end. 45-50. Lovington 40, 30, 25. And push backward to the 20-yard line. Backup quarterback taking care of business. Looks, 40.
Welcome to the field, Omar Argot.
Looks like they're going to give him 35 on that one, or make it 37 now for the backup quarterback.
Hey, it's the way you want to pad your stats right there. Get one good run, and now you lead the team in yards per carry.
They're going to put it at the 18-yard line. Another first down for the Eagles. That's their 11th. Again, they don't have any urgency, up 39-0 here as the clock will continue to run on the Mercy roll. Again, the Wildcats have Denver City next week, looking for their first win of the season, and the Eagles will be on the road at Roswell Goddard. Shotgun to Argot, fakes the pass, rolls around and hands it off to Baeza right, comes around the end to the far sideline to the 10 and across there to the 9. So 19 to about the 9. He's close to a first down. He needed 10 to get there, and looks like he might have gotten, they're going to say he went out a little bit shy of that, so about 9 yards on the carry for Baeza.
And, of course, the ball's flopping around. The referees can't get it set, but time is clicking away either way.
Well, I always love when you have these soccer goalie boxes on the field. You're always trying to see where the yard markers are, and you think you got it, then you realize, nope, that's a soccer marking there.
First world problems, Ty.
Yep. Let's see. What do we got? 9-yard line. So they're going to say he was shy by about a half a yard. Second and less than a yard to go. Needs to get to the 8. Shotgun split formation. Delay handoff. Royal just kind of slows down a bit as he angles left and waited to see if the wall was going to help him out. Instead, it's a white wall instead of a black and gold wall.
And he tried to bounce it outside on that one. There was a hole to his right on the inside. He cuts that one back in. He probably would end up getting about 3 or 4 yards, but, tried to bounce it outside, and they were containing it.
Of course, he had 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, Coach, a 4 and a 2-yarder. So licking his chops in this ball game as the Eagles trying to get that record up to 3-1 on the season.
And it's a very solid record at this point in the season. I think we're looking at a very special season for the Hobbs Eagles.
Trips left, receiver right. Argot by himself in the backfield. He's going to roll left, looks option, keeps it himself, gets spun around at the 10, cuts down the middle to the 5 and dragging people with him. Boy, this kid likes to get up the field. He's not going to go down. This is the first person that touches him. Some quarterbacks go crumple up when that happens, and not this kid.
I tell you what, he's very, very impressive running the ball. I mean, he really looks really comfortable in there running that, veer out of the gun offense at the run.
2 carries for 42 for Argot. That's the 12th first down for the Eagles. And they're just taking a lollygag type of situation now here with the clock in their favor. 7:40 remaining, 39-0 is the score. Last week, the Eagles had a touchdown in the first and the third quarters. In this one, they're putting them up on every quarter. Argot going option again left. He'll take it himself, slung down hard like a helicopter. Crashing to the ground there at the 1. And he'll get another 3 on that one. He didn't even fake the pitch out there that time. So 3 yards there for Argot. 3 carries now for 45 yards. And about less than a yard to go for the touchdown. Clock ticking at 7:05 remaining. Of course, the Hobbs Eagles, a few more non-district games coming up. We mentioned Goddard and also going to Friendship, Texas to take on a team out of Wichita Falls, Ryder High School. Handoff up the middle. There's Royal tiptoeing through. Nobody touching him. He just basically looks ahead, does a salute, gets a few pats on the helmet, and another touchdown. Boy, Royal doing some big-time red carpet treatment here with the 3rd touchdown in the second half. And
what an easy touchdown it was. There wasn't anybody that got a hand on him anywhere close. That makes it a 45-0 to score.
50 is game over, Coach. We're 5 away.
Extra point pending right here.
As we get ready for Baeza. This will be his 7th PAT attempt in the game. Actually, they went for 2 on one of them on a bad snap. This one's up and good. They're running the clock right now at 6:10 remaining here in the 4th. 46-0. Hobbs Eagles all over the Lovington Wildcats, the #1 team in the 4A in the Max Preps Bowl. We're going to keep it right here, as you definitely don't want a big run back here for score. You want to keep this as a 0 on the scoreboard.
Absolutely.
I
think that's a goal.
Not rubbing it in. I mean, it happened 2 years ago, 26-0. Lovington defeated Hobbs right here on this home turf.
And, you want to pitch that shutout. It means something to defense to put a goose egg up there. And to do it against the #1 ranked team in that classification, that has a lot of meaning to you, a lot of pride in that.
And Lovington with some, pretty impressive wins this season so far. I mean, they get the victory over Santa Teresa, 5A team. Beat Roswell to come from behind victory. Both those 2 games are very close. And then last week, a 1-point winner over Alamogordo on the road. All 5A opponents, and the reason why they're #1 in the state. They're not going to take on Patsies early on as they get prepared for their district as well. And, of course, they played Bloomfield for the Asterisk Championship last year, the bowl game, which they won by a few points up there at Lobo football field. So, again, this team is on the comeback. They want to get those championships under their belt, and Coach Gonzalez is doing a great job with the program. But keep it on the ground does Baeza, takes a roll back to the 17-yard line as it's scooped up the middle. And a return for about 3 yards for the Wildcats. That's Isaac Henson, and he gets it out to the 28.
And guess who was on the tackle?
Let me guess, Armendaris?
No, Omar Argot.
Okay.
Plays quarterback, played some tight end earlier on the big package, and here he is on the kickoff team making the tackle.
Well, we also saw Colton Graham in there on a special teams play earlier this game, too, back in the first half. So Coach is opening up the refrigerator. Everybody's coming out. No matter what your normal position is, you can get some time elsewhere.
Hey, Coach, let me play.
You're up here in the booth. Just stay right where you're at. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. The Wildcats, maybe their last hurrah here. Trips left, receiver right. Back to pass. Gomez dumps it to the left flat to the 30. Up to the 35. Stretch to the right to the 40. 45. 50. High stepping. 45. And out the 40-yard line. So they're not done yet.
And, of course, Hobbs Eagles has their 2 defense in right now. And, so Wildcats are just trying to get something on the board. And here comes the ones. As soon as they got into Hobbs territory, Coach says, I want this shutout. let's go ahead and put the starters back on the field.
That's going to be a 38-yard play there for the Wildcats as the catch by DeMarcus Thompson. His first opportunity in the game.
Clock's still winding down. It's 4:30 and counting.
So Thompson will move the chains for the Wildcats. That's their 9th first down of the game. They've completed 7 for 29. Handoff up the middle, and a big pile up at the line of scrimmage. Black and gold get underneath quickly to put a stop on the running play.
You got a Hobbs player down.
Ball carrier for the Wildcats. I don't think they're going to give him any positive on that one. That's Marcus Tarango, as he was pummeled. The first responder, we should say, getting in there was Gavin Brumley.
I think we have 12 men on the field right now.
So no gain on the play for Tarango. Second down and 9 from the 40. Screen pass to the left to the 40, 35, and Tarango is going to try to backpedal for a few more yards, maybe giving the forward progress to the 35. This is taking a lot of time, though, Coach, as they try to unravel the pile.
Yeah, and they're down to a 4th down play here, 4th and about 5. Hobbs gets a stop here. It's over.
So 4 yards on that one. 3rd and 5 now from the 35. Shotgun, back to pass. Going off to the right is Gomez to the 40. He's scampering, tucks it, and goes to the 35 and runs out of bounds, which is about the line of scrimmage. A late flag coming in. They can't be saying a late hit out of bounds.
No. This one's a hit behind the play. One of the guys chasing the quarterback wasn't a part of the play. One of the players peeled back.
Yeah, legal block called on Lovington. It's going to be back about the 37, 38-yard line.
Just like that, 15 more yards.
Well, 10 on the illegal block. So that'll back up the Wildcats. 4th penalty here in the second half for 25, 40 overall on the total of 7 penalties in the ball game.
That's 15 yards.
Well, it shouldn't have been 15 on a legal block. Oh, yeah, peel back block, yes. But, just a regular block. A legal block would be 10. So 15, thank you.
Here we go.
3rd down and 18 now for the Wildcats at the Eagle 48. Shotgun, low snap. Gomez is going to get chased. He goes down on 2 knees. He saw a big wall coming at him that time, and he said, I'm going to crumple up and get the heck out of there. As the initial attack coming from the Eagles, that was Blake Hensley in there off the defensive end position, and that's going to put Lovington a whole lot of hurt on a 4th down look now.
Yeah, and Hensley gets credit for the sack there. Just amazing pressure.
So Gomez will lose. How many did he lose on that? About 8, it looks like. Dropped to 2 knees. He just said, heck, I see this tidal wave coming at me, and I'm going to see what I can get out of not getting my back broke.
Here comes the punt team.
That's going to be 4th and 26 now for the Wildcats on the right hash of the 44-yard line. Clock down to 2:13 remaining, and now a timeout on the field. As I guess they had an issue with personnel. They've been moving people in and out here. Coach Gonzalez for the Wildcats. Of course, Coach Stevens doing the same for the Eagles with the game out of hand at this point. And what's this going to say for the Eagles in terms of stature as they head on to the road to Roswell next week against Goddard, Coach?
Yeah, I think we're riding ourselves with a great wave of momentum. And, once you get that wave going, you as long as you can keep doing those same things right and it starts transitioning into the next game and the next game and the next game, you start to put together a pretty good streak. You feel good about yourselves and feel confident. And this is what Coach Stevens' teams have done in Eunice. That first year, he lost the first 3 games, ends up winning the state title because they got that wave going. And I can just feel that wave coming right now for the Hobbs Eagles.
Wildcats at their own 43, make it the 44-yard line. 4th and about 26 to go. Man in motion left to right. They're going to punt the ball away down 45 to nothing. Ball goes out of bounds, and it will be Hobbs Eagles to get the one last possession. Make it 46 to nothing. Don't want to short the Eagles even 1 point here.
Yeah, it's at this point, it's a ball game that's pretty much over. The Eagles are just going to keep the ball on the ground. We'll probably have 2 minutes of sitting here left, and unless the Eagles break one by accident.
Nice to see an opportunity to get a backup quarterback in there in Argott. He's had some big runs here in this 4th quarter, of course. We mentioned those, including a 37-yarder. Has 3 carries for 45 yards here in the 4th. Hobbs will have it at their own 33-yard line, again up 46 to nothing. Record will go to 3-1 on the season. This will be the first loss for the Wildcats. They'll drop to 3-1. Although they've had some very tight games earlier, again, Roswell, Alamogordo, and even Santa Teresa to start the season. So everything's been pretty close up until this one.
Yeah, I think Santa Teresa is in their own classification, isn't it?
No, they're 5A. They might be
really?
independent. I don't know if they're playing in a district. I know they moved. Gadsden got moved out of the Hobbs district this year. They'll be independent. They tried to get a kneel down there, but I guess the wide cap hadn't blown the whistle to get the 25-second clock going. So they got the ball reset. No, actually, they did get a kneel down. They just moved it to second down. So loss of 1 there for Argot. On the junk stats that you hate as a quarterback, you're going to get negatives on the last 3 or 4 plays.
Negative stats just because you're downing it.
Of course, Eagles won 14-0 and shut out in the first game against Clovis. They had a chance to kneel down a few times. There's another kneel down here for Argot. Clock's going to get down now to 30 seconds. That should be the last one they have to worry about as they lead 46-0. So Lovington will not win 3 games in a row here as they had the last 2 here at Watson Stadium. As Hobbs will pick them off here. I don't know if the pickoff is the right terminology, as it's a blowout, shutout going on here at Watson Stadium as the big banners are coming across the field with the Eagles letters coming across with 6 seconds left, and the team's already lined up shaking the hands. They said this one's in the books. And that is your final score from Watson Stadium as we await the very loud cannons. 46-0. The Eagles getting the 3-1 record. And the Wildcats dropping to 3-1. The Battle of Lee County continues with the postgame show live here on Cool 95.7 and YouTube in 3 minutes.
You're clear. Two minutes.
Add a minute, please.
Okay. One minute. 30. Ten. 5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Watson Stadium. 46-0 your score as the Hobbs Eagles have put away the Lovington Wildcats and did it in grand fashion, pitching the shutout here. And that's 2 in a row for the Hobbs Eagles. That Hobbs defense has really come on. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing here, Ty.
Yeah, lots of guys getting through. They're putting some pressure on the quarterback. Lovington having to go kind of with a short passing game. Really not a big night for them in terms of the pass receptions. 13 of 31, Coach, and that's definitely a lot different than what we've been seeing. We had a 400-plus game a few weeks ago against Roswell. They've had close to 200 yards in passing in the last other 2 games that they played this season up until now. So well below their average. Just didn't have a rhythm from the start of this ball game as the Eagles jumped out quickly with a couple of touchdowns. Caden Trevino had a 3-yard run to put it 7-0. 7-yard pass to Trevino still in the first quarter. About 6 minutes after that, they missed the PAT, 13-0 at the end of 1. Second quarter, Hobbs added another touchdown, a 32-yard pass to Van Landingham from Colton Graham, making it 20-0 after the PAT. So that was a 20-0 halftime lead, and you kind of felt that Lovington just didn't get that rhythm going, and maybe the heat, the humidity that was on the field down there tonight might have affected them just a bit. But of course, the Eagles played in the same situation, although it was on their home field.
Yeah, of course, the Eagles are a little bit deeper. Being the bigger school, you have more players on that sideline, too. I don't know if that's entirely the factor. I think Hobbs came out early. Hobbs started smacking them early. The turnovers helped. And once you got a lead and kind of got in their head, Lovington started trying to really push hard. And they made some mistakes when they did so, and it just kind of took them out of their game. I think it's just more of dominating football and Lovington not quite getting into the rhythm that they normally get into.
And we had some royalty here tonight, Coach. Of course, the Jaori Royal, 3 touchdowns in the second half. Kind of short stuff out there in terms of the yard production on those TDs, but hey, TDs nonetheless. A 4-yard run in the third quarter made it 27-0. A 2-yard run in the third quarter made it 33-0. He also had a fourth quarter score, a 1-yard run, making it 46-0. But sprinkle in there a 69-yard punt return for Hector Armendaris at 39-0 at one point. They didn't get the PAT on that one, but again, Royal with 3 touchdowns in the second half. Armendaris with 1 on the punt return.
And you know what? He is the king of Watson Field tonight for sure. He did a great job, and you got to speak to what Caden Trevino did, getting them there in that lead. And then you saw a wonderful play from Baeza, who had some good runs himself, had some great blocks. He sprung Royal on 2 of those blocks and sprung Trevino on another one. And it was just a wonderful thing to see, the balance. You didn't know who was going to be the one that was going to be the next threat. And you kind of get put on your heels. You don't know who to stop. It's hard to stop anyone.
Of course, another situation, too. I think one of the touchdowns Trevino had came back on a hold penalty, too, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't that him?
We lost one. And it's just they had such explosiveness, and the misdirection was working. The whole game seemed to really kind of come together for them.
We're going to take one final break, get you caught up on all the stats here at Watson Stadium. Again, the Hobbs Eagles are the big win, 46-0 over Lovington. Both teams now with 3-1 records on the season. We'll take a final 2-minute break and wrap it up here with the stats here at Watson Stadium. Ty Friend and Coach Brian Coltrane live with you. Hobbs Eagle football on Cool 95.7 and YouTube.
You're clear. 1 minute. $30. $10. 5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. 46-0 your score as Hobbs Eagles improved to 3-1 on the season, getting ready to play Goddard. And Ty, looking at the stats of the game, what do you think's been the biggest key for the Eagles here?
Well, it's been consistency for one. I mean, got a lot of people involved in the offense. You're actually punching it into the end zone instead of getting stalled up in the red zone. That's definitely a big factor. Got some big step-ups on the defense, causing 4 punts, a couple of turnover on downs, a couple INTs as well for Moore and Chisholm. All those adding together really helped out a great cause and keeping Lovington on their heels for much of this ball game. We mentioned Lovington just 13 of 31 in the passing game tonight. Let's take a look at the stats. First of all, in the passing game, we'll stick with that. Their leader for the Wildcats with 29 yards was Henson. He had 3 catches for 29. 14 and 10 were his longs in that ball game. Other catch receptions there for Wildcats included Carrasco had 1 for 15. Hilliard 4 catches for 27, all coming in the first half. Adam Aguilera pulled down 2 for 15. Anson Marquez had a catch for 17. Thompson with the best catch of the game. DeMarcus Thompson had 1 for 38. And last but not least for the Wildcats was Marcus Tarango, had 1 for 4 yards. 13 of 31 in the passing game. Couple of different quarterbacks in there for the Wildcats as they finished up with a total of 145 yards in the game. On the rushing side, a few guys with one guy with double digits. That's all they were able to muster. Ashton Aranda, the backup quarterback in this game at least, he had 7 carries for 11, a long of 14. Gomez, that's Anthony Gomez, the running back, had 2 carries for 8 yards. And also looks like it was Adam Aguilera had a couple for 9 yards. Lots of other guys got the ball, but they 1 yard and 2 yards apiece, so we won't go through all those numbers at this point. In terms of the running game, 19 carries for 32 yards. Lovington had 32 offensive plays in this contest, Coach, for 177 yards. Again, they had 2 interceptions in the passing game, a penalty situation, a total of, it looks like 7 for 45 yards. So, again, that didn't help their cause at all either. But they did finish with 9 first downs. But, again, the passing just not consistent enough tonight, 13 of 31.
They didn't get passing at the most opportune times, too. They were pretty good on passing in first and second down, but in third and 5 and longer situations, they didn't complete any.
Yeah, and the receivers, a lot of them well below their average. I mean, the most catches by Hilliard, he had 4, 3 for Henson, but, 27 and 29 yards. And, used to get a lot more than that, and especially with some of the big games they've played so far. So, again, total 177 in the offense for Lovington. Looking over at your Hobbs Eagles numbers, some big numbers coming in for Giori Royal. 10 carries, 84 yards, 3 touchdowns in the second half. 4, 2, and 1 yards respectively. He had a big one picked off there in the first half of 51 yards on the ground, another one for 19 too. So he had 79 by the end of the first half. A lot of small stuff in the second half, but you know how running backs are. They'd rather have those 6 points. They could care less if it's not 100 yards of rushing or whatever it is, as long as they get those 6 points on the board.
I tell you what, everybody remembers the touchdowns, and yeah, you can make 10, 11 yards a pop and be the player of the game. Coaches know you're the player of the game. But, it's the touchdowns everybody remembers.
Caden Trevino, second game in a uniform for the Hobbs Eagles. 5 carries for 64 yards, a long of 39. His only carry in the second half. A lot of times comes out of that slot or receiver reverse position on the motion in the backfield to get the ball coming around the ends. He loves getting outside and taking care of it down the sideline. Definitely it's his bread and butter. A couple other guys getting big ones tonight. Baeza, of course, bouncing off people, dragging people with him. 5 catches for 60 yards. Kind of wish he could have gotten to the end zone. He did have a big one in the first half for 41. Also got, I believe he was one of the guys that was getting close to the end zone that got called back on a big run as well. So a couple things affected him with the yellow handkerchiefs tonight. But, boy, that kid is – and he's not a real tall kid, which means it's hard for them to target him. I mean, he gets between people and gets low on him when he comes up.
I think the most impressive thing about him today was his blocking. You know, a lot of times running backs, they want the glory. They want those touchdowns. They want to hear their name called over the speaker system. But it's those blocks that make touchdowns, and he was the one that was really springing a lot of people. And I just love the intensity. I love his hard-nosed nature. That kid's a great kid, and we'd love having him on the field.
Backup quarterback in the fourth quarter, Argot, not the linebacker Argot, but Omar Argot, the junior, 6'2", got a little size out there. He carried for 5 times in the fourth quarter, won a 37-yarder, and finished 5 for 45. And he was the type of kid that, when you get your first shot out there, you kind of wonder, would you have the guts to move it up the field, or are you just going to do the slide outs like a lot of the quarterbacks try to get away with? But he was a kind of a gritty runner, just got up the field and get as many yards pulling people with him.
And that's a big key right there. You have that body, you use that body, and you try to get all those extra yards. You take a little abuse doing it, but man, he does a lot for the team.
Colton Graham, 6 carries for 15 yards. He had a long of 16 in the first quarter. Hobbs had 31 rushing plays in this ball game for 268 yards. So lots of guys getting involved. 6 different players getting a touch of the leather in the backfield for the Hobbs Eagles. The passing game tonight, a few receivers getting some multiple catches, and that included Baezo. We're talking about his rushing, and you mentioned blocking, Coach, but he had 4 catches for 35 yards, and the long was in the first half, a 27-yarder. So very big part of the offense in this ball game. A couple other guys getting 2 catches apiece. Ethan Van Landingham had a big one for 32 yards and a touchdown. He ended up with 2 for 37. It was Caden Trevino, 2 for 19, including a long of 12. Royal caught one on the line of scrimmage. Unfortunately, couldn't fall forward for a yard. He got none on the play, but still came down with the football. Those aren't the easiest catches, those hot routes on the line of scrimmage. James Moore, a catch for 26 yards. We should mention, too, he had some good plays on defense as well. So those are your receivers with receptions in this game, a total of 5 of them. They had a 10 receptions out of 17 attempts tonight for the Eagles, and again, we had 2 quarterbacks in there. I don't believe we had any passes by Argot, so all those were coming at the arm of Colton Graham. So he did convert on 10 of those, 117 yards in the air, a total just shy of 400 tonight unofficially, 385 in terms of the offense tonight for the Eagles. Only punted the ball 2 times and had a total of 12 first downs.
And when you have that running clock in the fourth quarter, it eats away a lot of your offensive stats. They'd have easily had 400 if that was been a game that had been full-time.
And you mentioned, too, this was in pregame, Coach, the turnovers are going to give a win or a loss to a team, and we've had tonight 2 INTs, two turnovers on downs, which you can pretty much go in the turnover column. 4 punts almost turn into turnovers as well. So look at that. I mean, that's all on the Lovington side on their stats.
Yeah, and that's usually the biggest indicator in most sports, is how many opportunities you get, and turnovers limit opportunities.
Well, next week the Eagles will travel to Roswell Goddard, taking on the Rockets, a team they haven't played for a couple of seasons now. I mean, that was off the schedule for a bit, and gets a little bit iffy with these 2 teams. They don't like each other too much. I know there's been some the coach over there used to be a Hobbs assistant down here for football, so he's been at Goddard for a few years, and he likes to beat the Eagles. That's definitely under his thinking, basically. They won tonight, team out of El Paso, Austin High School, 36-14, so a 22-point win in that one.
Yeah, Austin High School, not one of the most powerful schools in El Paso school district, but they are solid. Doesn't really give us a real indication of what this Goddard squad looks like. I do have a score also. Jal beat Capitan 38-0. That was the last score that was posted.
Yeah, Jal's tough this year.
Yeah, they were coming down to it. Of course, Eunice plays Truth or Consequences tomorrow.
Right.
That's a 5 o'clock start there in Eunice. And, it's a game you want to catch. That'll be a pretty good one over there.
And, of course, Goddard was the only team to beat Lovington last year, 50-0. And, Lovington was going all the way to that bowl game, which was kind of like the first championship for the 4A last year. But Goddard was the only blemish on their record.
Yeah, and so it'll be a good one. I'm excited. It's going to be fun to go up to Roswell and see.
And also, too, I mean, playing on that field, kind of a collegiate atmosphere, the big stadium. You know, there's a few big stadiums you like to play at, Field of Dreams in Las Cruces, of course, Hobbs, Watson Stadium here. Blue turf there in Lovington's pretty cool to be on. And, of course, the Wool Bowl, you just, again, that collegiate atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, and, you know, it's one of those things. You have a good season going. You're going to try to find some way. And, boy, you want to get some revenge from the last time that you played them.
Of course, Lovington will have a road, I think it's a road trip next week. Maybe it's a home game, I'm not sure. But Denver City, they lost last week. I forget who they're playing this week, but they are yet to win a ball game. They lost a close one last week. I forget who they played, but I looked it up before the game. But still, again, Denver City has had some decent teams in the past. But, again, you know, getting a chance to play some of those Texas squads, sometimes they have a week or two ahead of you in terms of the football season. It's kind of tough. I mean, you've coached over in Texas before. They'll be ready for a New Mexico team, won't they?
Yeah, Texas teams are usually pretty salty. Denver City has been a pretty strategically, you know, sound team for a long time. And they've been a pretty salty team for a long time, but they're having a down year, and they are in a smaller classification. They are a smaller school than Lovington.
So that's coming on the horizon. So both teams, Hobbs and Lovington, 3-1 records, doing very well this season. Not the best showing for Coach Gonzalez and his squad tonight. I'm sure they were expected to come in here, have a big shootout like they did last year, just a 3-point ball game that was won by the Wildcats here at Watson Stadium. So the Eagles able to break that 3-game win streak that could have been happening tonight if the Wildcats would have won this one. So final score, 46-0 here at Watson Stadium as Eagles will head to Roswell Goddard next week. The Wildcats will take on Denver City. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast tonight. I'd like to thank Tiffany Stuber back at the station. And until next Friday night, 6:45 pregame in the Alien City. I'd like to thank Brian Coltrane, myself, Ty Friend. We will see you next Friday night. Have a great weekend out there, and please get into some coolness. It's been hot out here tonight.
You're clear.
Good night, and thank you.
Thank you, Tiff.
You're welcome. Drive safe.